Even that mess.
Swiffer Wet Jet Wood, proud member of the National Wood Floor Association.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents.
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you're looking for real news, News Nation doesn't take sides or lean into political agendas. At News Nation, you get all sides. News Nation, news for all America. Go to newsnationnow.com/join us to find your television provider.
It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast. Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. Presented by Timeless Coffee. This is the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
109.90, 4:50 remaining in this one. Curry doubled. Stops and pops. It's a three, and it's money in the bank. Cold, hard cash for Stephen Curry.
Man, when Jordan Poole's playing the way he's going, him, Clay, Steph, you can have 2 or 3 of those guys on the court at all times.
You're not lying, Tom Tobin. And oh, baby, what a start to the Western Conference playoffs for the Golden State Warriors. And what a weekend here in the Bay Area when it comes to the sports teams. Warriors win game 1 against the Nuggets, 123-107. Steph, a little rusty there. Jordan Poole, the man of the hour. We're going to dive right into that. Giants sweeping the Guardians. And Shasky, I have a bold take about the Giants. A bold take coming up a little bit later. Bold take.
So you're just going to
just let it linger.
Let it dangle?
Yeah, that's what I do with you, man. To make you wait, and because I know you get the anxiety and you want to know right now. So a bold take about the Giants coming up a little later. A's battle in Toronto. And, man, what a weekend of sports. NBA playoffs in full tilt there. You saw the Celtics and the Nets yesterday. But good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shifts and getting ready for work. Everybody on the Xfinity Mobile text line, YouTube and Twitch. Do not forget to subscribe to YouTube and Twitch. We'll have some good stuff, fun stuff coming up here for everybody on 95.7 The Game, including the Roasters here. But good morning, Lupman. Good morning, Langford. And good morning to you, Joe Shasky. How was it?
I mean, this is a great weekend. I think Saturday was just spectacular, especially after kind of a sluggish start. Felt like the crowd was trying to, get into it, and it just wasn't hitting right. And Steph Curry looked a little off. And you know what? Everything kind of worked itself out. We've been talking so much about who should start and who should finish and who should do what. And so I want to say this, but I want to preface it by saying I don't want to do the consequence. What does it mean for this guy? And what does it mean? Right. Just independent. Can we all just appreciate, gosh darn it, Jordan Poole is freaking awesome. The regular season, you can really solidify yourself.
Right.
But when you want to be a real, true, bona fide star, you have to forge yourself in the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah, Giannis, back-to-back MVPs, right. Everybody knows, but there was a dilution of do it in the playoffs. You got to win a championship. Now, Jordan Poole is 15 rungs below where Giannis is currently.
Yep.
But there was a lot of people, and whether you're Warrior fans or not Warrior fans, hey, we'll see what it looks like in the playoffs. As far as I'm concerned, when I think of first ever playoff performances for a guy, that's as good of a Bay Area first-time playoff performance that I can think of. I know Tim Lincecum comes to mind. The first game.
1-0. Yeah, 1-0 against the Braves. Complete game shutout.
Exactly.
14 strikeouts?
Yeah, 14 strikeouts. He was unbelievable.
Yep.
It kind of set the tone for the playoffs.
Yep.
I was thinking about Nick Bosa against Minnesota.
Yeah,
where he got knocked out and winded, but he was just awesome in that game.
Right.
Awesome. But I don't know if I necessarily remember that game because of Bosa.
Right.
But I was just thinking of performances, and I'd love to hear from people. I went back and looked. Do you remember what Steph scored the first ever game against the Nuggets? Game 1, 2012-2013 playoffs.
It wasn't as much as Jordan Poole. It wasn't as much as Jordan Poole.
19 points.
Let me tell you, at 22 years old, Jordan Poole becomes the youngest Warrior player to score at least 30 points in their first career playoff game.
Wow.
The previous was Wilt Chamberlain when he scored 35 at 23 years old.
Wow.
Alongside Mitch Richmond, who scored 30 points when he was 23 years old.
Wow.
Those are the only players to score 30 points in their first career postseason appearance for the Golden State Warriors.
Look at us.
Money time! Money time!
Now, let me tell you, we did not prepare this, but the fact that you had the data to back it up, because I was just thinking about it.
I got more data for you. You want data?
Yeah, I would love it.
Let's get all the data out here. Jordan Poole made 5 threes. It's the most three-pointers ever made by a Warriors player in their first playoff game. Steph Curry, 420, 2013, that first game against the Nuggets.
Yeah.
He had hit 4, and then Sprewell at Phoenix back in 94.
Oh, my God.
He had hit 4. Poole's 30 points, of course, tied Mitch Richmond for the second most by a Warrior in their career playoff debut. I mean, it was spectacular.
Take that for data.
And we're going to talk about the Def lineup 2.0, and I know people are coming up with Frisco 5.
Okay.
Look, I don't know about Frisco 5 because Steph, Clay, and Dre played 10 years in Oakland.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to sit well with them.
And he's wearing Oakland shoes, the first ever playoff
I don't
game.
know about Frisco 5. We'll call it the Def lineup.
Yeah.
But Jordan Poole, and it feels like it comes in the second quarter. You know how you have the Curry flurry in the third quarter? Curry just goes ballistic there.
Yeah.
Jordan Poole at the end of halves just feels like he senses the moment to where, all right, it's time to separate. Let me put my impact on this game. Let me put my step on this game. And the fact that he just started going to the cup, started hitting threes, he scores 14 points in that pivotal second quarter. Warriors in the first half on an 18-4 run. And largely because Jordan Poole and his playmaking ability, the efficiency, Shasky, 9 of 13. 9 of 13, 5 of 7 from 3, and then 30 points. A star is born. And yes, did he get snubbed for the finalist for most improved player?
Okay.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he got snubbed, but it's all good. Gives him another chip to play for.
For sure.
All right, it's fine. They don't recognize me yet. Let me put my step on this playoff game. He was dynamic on Saturday.
And he was outstanding. And look, it's not just Jordan Poole. We all know, like, if they really want to win a championship, right, or even get to the Western Conference Finals, contributions are going to need to be made from the top to the bottom of this roster. Everyone's going to have their impact and have moments. There's no doubt about that. I'm just looking at what the young man did, and I was just surprised to see him rise to the moment the way he did. Because Steph returning, it just looked a little sluggish. They're gonna need Steph Curry. We know this. They're gonna need him. Quietly. I guess it's quiet. Clay looked great. I mean, I don't know if that's even like a thing, but to me,
Clay's
he looked great.
Clay's fine.
Yeah, and then
Wiggins.
Draymond looked great.
Oh, well, Draymond Green, I thought was the second best player on the floor.
How about when he hits the 3? So I'm watching the game with my wife. It's just me and my wife are up at the cabin, and Dre hits the 3. She goes, "Oh, here we go." And then they showed the replay of how he was going to celebrate, and he did the arms down where he yells at the crowd. That was like vintage 2015, 2016 Draymond Green, and I just got all the old feels.
Dude, I mean, Draymond Green was the second best player on the floor, if not the best player.
He was awesome.
Dude, there's a number out there.
He looks spry, too, doesn't he?
Oh, he looks healthy.
Those black jerseys are so sick.
Well, before we get on that, because you're hopping around. I mean,
I know, they just look so good.
We could do an entire segment on the City Edition jerseys. I was actually thinking about them last night because I'm waiting for the shorts. Every time they release the shorts,
I got a pair.
They sell out, though. Yeah. They sell out real fast. So
you got to go to NBA.com.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to go there. I'm just waiting on a Warriors team store.
I wore them on Saturday morning to basketball.
Well, I got to get that 25% discount.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Chest card here, your boy's broke here.
They don't sell the authentic ones. They sell the ones where you can put the pockets,
I need
hands in the pocket.
I don't like those.
Well, the authentic ones tend to run a little heavier. If you ever have the Hardwood Classic Mitchell and Ness,
I know.
They tend to be a little heavier than other shorts.
I need those though.
Oh, those are the more walking around shorts. Yes.
I need those heavy shorts.
Yeah.
I need the authentic. I may just go down to the locker room with maybe pull a Joe Shasky and be like, hey, can I get some shorts?
Nothing wrong with that.
Maybe.
I saw you on deck with E40. You're living large.
Hey,
I was proud of you.
Lakeford and Lubbock came by, man. I got to see E40 dripped up in Louis Vuitton.
Oh.
You should have seen their faces. Lutman is just like, oh my God. By the way, side note, Lutman texted me during the game. Oh, where do you usually watch the game at? I did not reply.
Oh.
We're not going to hit me with a garlic fry. What is it? Garlic fry o'clock in the third quarter. You're not going to hit me with
come
one
by
of
and
those.
say what's up, but I mean, if that's where it's at, that's fine.
What's up from Lubman could go a long way. It could last a long time. But we're talking about Draymond Green. The Warriors' record when Draymond Green scores 10-plus points in a basketball game.
It's undeniable.
The Warriors are 225 and 53. All right, Lubman, I'm gonna put you.
That might be the greatest
work.
record. If we're talking about automatic victory, 225 and 53. That's incredible.
Lubman, do the math. How high of a winning percentage is that?
It's got to be 75%. No.
I mean,
say the numbers one more time.
225 and 53.
Warriors record when Draymond scores, because this is what we talk about all the time. We discuss this like, man, can Draymond give you 6? Can he give you 8?
Can he give me 10?
Can he give you 10? And he gave you 12 on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And I thought the decision-making on offense was spectacular.
That's an 809 winning percentage.
It's over 80% of the Warriors.
Wow.
Warriors win
Wow.
80% of the time when Draymond Green scores 10-plus points over the course of his career. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you think about defensively what he was doing, barking, switching, sending over help on Jokic, battling with Jokic, hitting the wide open 3. I thought Draymond Green, that was peak Draymond Green.
I'm with you 100%. The Jokic, how they defended Jokic and then how they attacked Jokic, to me, was a masterclass in X's and O's. Like, at times, they sent a late double at him. At times, they sent an early double. Sometimes they played him straight up. Like, I had no idea how they were going to defend him, and I felt like they threw the kitchen sink at him in terms of variety. And then simultaneously, you could see him get frustrated, and I think what did he take, 4 or 5 threes? I don't know. I don't have the information in front of me. How many threes did he take?
0 for 4.
They all felt like YOLO threes. Like, they didn't feel like rhythmic threes where, like, because like when Jokic takes those rhythmic threes, he'll hit them. But they felt more like, I'm tired. Let me just jack this up because I'm not getting what I want. A few times he caught the ball in the paint, and he's so deep and so skilled. He does that little lean in, drop back, teardrop, little kind of like, I don't know, fade away, if you will.
25 shots to get 25 points.
I'm good with that.
The Warriors, and the assist, Jokic ended up with 6 assists, but 3 of those came late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, when the game was in hand.
They go in the fourth quarter, Jokic with 3 assists. That's a win because we discussed this. Yeah. Pick your poison. You're not going to take away everything from great players.
No.
But can you make it hard on them? And I thought the Warriors made it hard on Jokic there, and they shut the others down. Like outside of Will Barton,
they hit early.
Nobody was a factor.
It felt like they hit early. They survived that early storm because I don't know if it was Monty Morris hit an early 3 and maybe it was JaMychal Green. Like a couple guys hit early 3s and it was like, uh-oh, is it going to be one of those nights?
Right.
And then they clamped down.
They clamped down. They clamped down on him, no doubt. They let Aaron Gordon shoot. Oh my gosh, he got punked early in that game.
I'm a big fan of him, but it's hard to defend. They're treating him like Tony Allen,
dude. And
I don't blame him.
Dude, he got punked in that game by Draymond early on.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson was in his grill. I mean, what a homecoming for Aaron Gordon. It was rough for your boy out there. They were letting him shoot Jeff Green.
Well, that's what
was
you
no
should
factor.
do.
Austin Rivers was running around.
Yeah.
I thought Bones Highland looked good for them. Maybe they need to give him more run there. But
Campazzo might be back.
That scares me
because he's a hack. I mean, he's got the Dellavedova tendencies.
That scares me because let's get to Steph making his return after missing the final 12 regular season games. Steph, I thought he was unsure of himself. Early on, the handle was loose. I heard whispers in the scrimmage was that he was turning it over a lot, and you saw that early on in that game. He didn't even take a shot in the first quarter. Comes in the game with 5:58 left, doesn't even take a shot in the entire first quarter, and the shot was off in that first half. He ends up taking 7 FGAs in the second quarter. I just thought his start and stopping, when he initially got rid of the ball in the half court, I thought he just stayed there. He was stationary.
Not relocating.
Not relocating.
To. Okay.
Not relocating. I thought the lateral movement was a little off there. And yes, the foot is not 100%, but I was a little weary of how he was stopping and starting. And early on, it looked like he didn't trust his foot.
I mean, you're at the arena. You guys are all at the arena except me. I feel like I'm missing out here. I'm out on TV. It just looked like he looked a little off. I don't know. Yeah. I couldn't tell if he was. I mean, I didn't see a limp. I didn't see.
There's no limp.
No, but I didn't see him like you're talking about starting and stopping and all that. The conditioning maybe just being, not accustomed to game speed. I don't know. It looked off, and that's the only way I can put it. It didn't look like vintage Steph Curry. But I've had this opinion, and people can disagree with me, and I'll listen to the argument. But I don't think for this team, this version of this team, to win a championship, I don't think I need nuclear 40-point every single night. Steph Curry has to carry the offensive burden by scoring. I don't think I need that version. I think his role needs to evolve. Am I saying that he's the number one player on the team? No, just get that out of your head. He's the dude. Everything revolves around him. What I'm saying is I actually liked when the second time he came into that game in the second quarter, felt like he was facilitating a little more and throwing off that double team and finding some of his open teammates. I want a more blended half-court game from Steph Curry. I don't think I need the offensive assault with points from him if JP's going off, if Clay's going off, if Wiggins can attack the way he attacked.
Well, the one thing about the Nuggets, what you notice with the Nuggets, They still respect the heck out of Stephen Curry.
Of course.
They were not letting him breathe, which I think helps Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson. You look at their first halves, they were spectacular. The spacing that Steph Curry still provides.
Absolutely.
Even with the cranky left foot, with the sprained ligament and the bow bruise, I think that's going to be big for the Golden State Warriors. Does he need to go nuclear every night? No, probably not. But you're going to need Steph Curry to score.
Of course.
There's going to be games where he drops
20 plus. I'm not here to say, he can only score 12. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Some of the passes felt a little loose. They needed to tighten up.
He had a couple rainbow passes.
I think Steph Curry knew that in the second half, and he played a lot better, a lot tighter. And the minutes restriction, it's got to be tough. You're coming off the bench, you're playing at 6 minutes, the last 6 minutes at the end of each quarter. It's a little tough for you.
Well, B, I thought that was a metaphor for just Steph Curry as a whole. We talk so much about Duncan and Popovich. Duncan allows Popovich to coach him.
Yep.
How many guys who are as accomplished as Steph Curry are like, you know what, whatever we need to do to win, I'll come off the bench. Like, if that's what's going to sync up my minutes, I don't think we could talk enough about him saying, you know what, I'll do what's best for my minutes and for the team and everything. I just don't know many, would LeBron have done that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Would James Harden have done that?
I don't know.
I don't think Chris Paul would do that.
I don't know.
Maybe he wasn't the vintage Steph we're accustomed to. I'm not here to say he was. Just metaphorically, him understanding the situation and be willing to do that. No, I would like him to start, but
he'll start.
I thought that spoke volumes to the team trying to accomplish the bigger goal.
No, yeah, no doubt. I mean, he'll start. He will start. But I thought the biggest thing that we saw out of this is something we've been waiting for. What's the new def lineup going to look like? What's the closing lineup going to look like? And we saw at the end of the first half, Steve Kerr finally deploy Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Steph, Klay, and Poole.
It's perfect.
And that's when they went under 18-4 run into half.
Yes.
Sometimes your offense is your best defense.
Agreed.
And that offensive attack where you have Poole or Steph on the ball, and you have Klay Thompson roaming around, and you have Draymond Green barking and conducting, that lineup, unleashing that lineup on defenses, there's no answer. The Warriors are small. You may score on them early, but that lineup, man, pick your poison on that one.
I've been watching Jokic for the last 2 years pretty closely because I enjoy watching him. I've never seen him that tired.
Dude,
he was exhausted.
Well, one thing I noticed, too.
They attacked him on that pick and roll.
You mentioned his three-point shooting a little earlier. He was 0 for 4 Saturday. Jokic quietly has shot 21% from three since March 1st. Which tells me, now he's a 40% career three-point shooter in the playoffs.
Didn't know this.
But since March 1st, I was, doing a deep dive and I'm prepping for the game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy's shooting 21% from three, which tells me, look, all the numbers he's putting up, Western Conference Player and above, he's probably going to win his second straight MVP, but he has literally carried that team. And those legs are a bit heavy.
For sure.
And getting them into all those actions, pick and roll, high ball screens, that's the best way to attack him.
And what's crazy, he had an off night for him, even though they contained him or whatever. However you want to file that. And then Will Barton is going kind of crazy, and I'm going to myself, is he doing this to us too? Is he literally doing this because we dismissed the numbers? Will Barton, Warrior Killer. Well, he's only averaged X amount of points. It just felt like every bucket he was going after, it was like he was doing it to us.
Yep. He was doing it. I mean, Will Barton's a nice player. They're going to need more
He's
from
a
him.
very nice player.
They need more from Monty Morris. I thought the Warriors did a really good job of shutting down the ancillary pieces there and closing out. Jordan Poole, though, this lineup, last 4:23 of the first half, last 4 minutes and 23 seconds, Warriors went from down 1 to up 11.
Yeah, and it
flipped the entire game.
Exactly, and it felt like it was curtains from there. Now, you don't want to use that the whole game because I liked what Looney was doing against Jokic. I thought Looney was banging with Jokic. I really liked what I saw, and then they got Jokic in foul trouble, too. That's another element of what slows him down.
You had the Scott Foster Ed Malloy show.
Ed Malloy.
Can I say this?
Ed Malloy. Hey, you know where I stand. I've been on Ed Malloy for 5 years.
So I get to the arena.
He's the worst.
I get to the arena, right? I go to the media center. I'm coming out. And Ed Malloy's walking by me. I'm with Whitley. And the refs,
a gallon of gel in his hair.
Oh, dude. So I walk by Ed Malloy. I said, hey, man.
Thank you, Steve.
Let's have a good whistle today, huh? Let's have a good whistle, Ed. And he just kind of smirked.
I'm surprised he didn't tee you up.
Nah, I'm surprised, too. He just kept looking forward, had a little smirk. Okay. And he's actually kind of tall, too.
No, he's really tall.
He's really tall. But Scott Foster with the little T, throwing out DeMarcus Cousins. That was weak.
Yeah, but Boogie's got to, like, I hear you.
That was a weak ejection.
I agree.
And it was a weak foul.
But Boogie, like, know your role. You're like the 7th, 8th man. Like,
yeah, I mean,
come
I
on,
get
man.
it.
You can't be jarring like that.
No, but Boogie didn't do enough to get ejected.
That's fair.
That was weak. That's
a reputation toss.
Right. That was just Scott Foster saying, Boogie, you're the last guy that's going to talk to me crazy.
Warriors are up a cajillion, and Draymond Green is fighting for a call at the end of the game, and the obligatory scream at Steve Kerr until he challenges it. I was like, this is a game. We have now challenged a Draymond Green foul.
That's what Draymond Green does. Yeah, I believe it did too. Draymond Green, look, he was dynamic in that game.
He looked great.
Dynamic, no doubt about that. 888-957-9570.
And the black looks good on him. Because he looks skinnier,
edition? Oh, that city, those
jerseys, I think those should be their primary jerseys.
Those might be their best jerseys now.
No, those are hard.
Those are really hard.
Those are sick.
What's coming up on the game brought to you by BMW Fairfield. Dave Fleming at 8 o'clock. It's Scott Hastings, the voice of the Denver Nuggets, at 8:30. Flim up in Cleveland. Did you see how windy and cold it was yesterday?
30-something degrees.
Oh, my gosh. It was ugly, but the Giants get the sweep in Cleveland. How about Tyro Estrada? That's what's coming up on the Morning Roast, brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. They provide a luxurious, all-encompassing experience to address all of your BMW needs. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit. That's BMWFairfield.com.
This is Ryan Horvat with BetQL, helping you beat the book.
and help you build a flexible plan for cash flow designed to last, so you can go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE SIPC.
Introducing Venture X, Capital One's new travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor. And he can do just about anything because
I make the earth take the shape that I want it to take.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1-Series tractor for just $109 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Bay Area Panthers are coming to SAP Center on May 7th, and 95.7 The Game has your shot at tickets. Tune in on Wednesday for your chance to win your way in.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
Warriors win game one over the Denver Nuggets, 123-107 to take a 1-0 lead in their best-of-7 series in the first round. Game two tonight, Chase Center, game two tonight. Warriors Live starts at 5:30 here on 95.7 The Game. Tip off at 7 p.m. That was the first playoff game in the city of San Francisco in 58 years. Last time they had hosted a playoff game in San Francisco was against the St. Louis Hawks back in 1964.
Wow.
JB will remember that, the Western Division Finals.
I'm asking, I don't know the answer. Can you name one St. Louis Hawk? I can't.
I'm just going to guess Bob Pettit.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to guess Bob Pettit.
I'm going to look this up now.
Yeah, look it up now. 1964, St. Louis Hawks. Warriors played a game. I believe it was at USF or San Francisco City Gym. I should know this, but that was back in 1964, April 1st. So that was going to be fun. Oh, we had Joe Lacob on 5 o'clock. Somebody on YouTube. I thought you guys were going to have Lacob on. We did, 5 o'clock on a pregame show. Yeah. Lacob was rolling material, man. He was feeling good about himself. And Chase Center was feeling good. Chase Center, Lakeford, you were at the game. You got the ticket in. You were dapper. You had your suit on. How would you rate the Chase Center experience in their first playoff game held at that building?
What do you mean, like a rate on a scale of 1 to 10?
Let's do 1 to 10. Let's do 1 to 10.
I'd say it was at an 8 because for a first playoff game, here's the thing. I'm tired of all the comparisons to what it was like to Oracle and stuff because Chase Center isn't seasoned yet. It was one playoff game, but the excitement for Klay Thompson when he was in that starting lineup, the excitement for Steph Curry when he came into the game and, whenever he'd go up and shoot a three, the excitement. People know when he's going to shoot a three. Right. They know when Steph's going to do that. And when certain plays happen, but, to get to have a fully well-rounded opinion on Chase Center in the playoffs, I need to see like a game 7. I need to see when it comes down to a game-winning shot because, let's be honest, by the time that game got to the fourth quarter, it was pretty much over.
It was academic. Yeah. It was academic. It definitely was. The Warriors blew them out in that second and third quarter there. I scored them by 12 in the third quarter. I scored them by 9 in the third quarter. So that's a score of 64-43. That's your game. Plus 21 in the second and third quarter.
And the loudest that I heard it in the arena was for a certain moment that we got for taking him to school, Bonte.
Oh, real quick before taking him to school, I got to hear who was on the St. Louis Hawks. Give me the St. Louis Hawks. Okay. I like that tease, though, Langford. I like it. But I got to hear about these things because he's just sitting over here twiddling his thumbs like Montgomery Burns, trying to give me these names and a roster.
All right, born in 1931, Cliff Hagan was on that 64-65 team.
All right.
Born in 1939, Bill McGill. But here we go. Let's get into the 40s, all right? Jeff Mullins, Bob Pettit, Paul Silas.
Bob Pettit, I named it.
Yeah, you did.
Paul Silas.
Paul Silas. And then,
how about that?
Here's one that I think that you would, most fans would recognize, Lenny Wilkens.
What, on the St. Louis Hawks at 64?
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is insane.
What's crazier to me is that Lenny Wilkens was born in 1937. He's the same age as my grandfather.
Wow. the late, great, he's not late, he's still alive out there. He's still kicking.
Lenny?
Yeah. Lenny's still
Had
out
the
there.
all-time wins record at one point?
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow.
Lenny Wilkins. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. That is wild.
That's a good call by you.
Wow. Bob Pettit. That's what he was.
No, I'm very impressed.
Only because of Jim Barnett.
Yeah,
only because of Jim
very
Barnett.
impressed.
All right, it's time for Taking Him to School, presented by
Pettit,
Evergreen.
born in 32.
Evergreen Valley College.
He's a child.
Home of the highest earning community college graduates in California. Langford hyped this highlight up. Gotta hear it.
Matchup getting spicier. Gordon goes up and under on the drive, missed it. Rebound Clay. Chest pass to Poole. Poole, 3-on-3. Drives in, goes up with a Euro step. It's good and a foul! He got fouled by Will Barton. He's going to the line. Wow. Just slowed it down just a little bit on Barton, ripped it through, and somehow flipped it up and in.
I mean, what an amazing move.
It was an amazing move right there. Tom Tober, Tim Roy on the call there. Great call by Tim Roy, the voice of the Golden State Warriors. That was taking them to school, which happens the morning after every game, paid for by Evergreen Valley College, home of the highest earning community college graduates in California.
You know, one of the things with JP, Jordan Poole specifically, is like, you know, I see people like, well, you know, he's only done this a couple of times. And like, does he go out there and score 5 points like twice a week and then, you know, and then he explodes for 35 the next night? Like, no, not really. He's been very consistent. Very consistent. Like, the level of consistency to me is the thing I'm like, this is sustainable.
Right.
This is not just like I'm here one night, I'm not here the next. It's the way he's playing and the body of work over a very long period of time now, B.
You know, it's disappointing if he doesn't score 20 anymore. It's disappointing at 408. No, Cal Palace is technically Daly City.
It's on the corner.
Right.
I mean, if you talk to anybody who lives in the 94132.
It feels San Francisco. I know.
You know,
trust
whatever.
me, I know. But no, that was technically Daly City, so the Warriors don't count it. But anyway, his pacing, Jordan Poole's pacing.
Yes.
He has a sense of the moment, which great players have. Like, I think of Dwayne Wade when he had a sense when it take over for the Miami Heat. You think of those just quick flash players.
Absolutely.
Where it's just like, all right, it's my time now. Little Kevin Johnson in his game. Like, this guy, Jordan Poole,
the start and stop?
Dude, everybody always talks about the offseason. Like, oh, the Warriors going to have... Jordan Poole's going to be a Golden State Warrior for a very long time.
Oh, put pen to paper.
A very long time. I mean, the fact that he does that on national television, this first ever postseason game, not knowing whether Steph Curry's going to be there. Game is, you know, back and forth. It's a sluggish start, as you mentioned, and he just takes it over in the second quarter. And it's like, damn, out of all the stars, Jokic, Curry, Draymond, Clay, it's a guy named Jordan Poole who was the best player on the floor at 22 years old. And sitting the moment there where it's just like, this is my time.
This is something I've been thinking about for about 48 hours now. Can you think of a guy, not someone who ascended this quickly, because we've seen guys ascend quickly, but literally went from 18 months ago, I'm not sure he's a professional.
I mean,
not even like it's one thing to just not be that good. It's another, like, I legitimately had thoughts, and maybe I'm an idiot and I can't assess talent, but I legitimately I'm not sure he's a pro.
No, I went to a lot of those games when they won 15. When they won 15 games. I saw a lot of Jordan Poole early on. He couldn't shoot a three. He couldn't make anything. He was shooting.
Shot selection was horrible.
He was shooting in the 20s. Like, his confidence was shot, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I don't know. And so he goes out to the G League.
Exactly.
He comes back, and I saw, okay,
a little flash.
Maybe this guy could be a ninth man, the eighth man. And then last year, he gets off to a rocky start, goes to the G League. I'm not even thinking about Jordan Poole.
No.
We're thinking about Oubre.
Yes.
The conversation is, who do you keep, Oubre or Wiggins? You know, we got to bring Oubre
100%.
back. And, you know, Jordan Poole, this. And we're like, Jordan Poole doesn't factor. Then he averages nearly 15 points a game since getting called back up from the G League, and he's in that closing lineup down the stretch. He had some good playing games against the Lakers and the Grizzlies, had a good stretch over the last 6, but you're still thinking like, all right, Klay Thompson's going to be hurt until December. Can you just hold down the fort? Can you just hold down the fort, Jordan Poole? You're going to start, but you may play 20 minutes. You never had this worry about D-Wade. You never had this worry about LeBron. You never had this worry about Donovan Mitchell. You never had this worry about great players. Like, it's really remarkable to think that he was just in the G League last season, and now you're saying to yourself, this guy's going to bet on himself and get a max contract.
it's got more of a football feel than a basketball feel. Most of the time in basketball, it feels like, for the most part, guys solidify themselves in the NBA early on. They show promise, and then they keep building on that. Like, this got, like, not that it's Kurt Warner, not that it's Jeff Garcia.
It just came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He went from fringe to star. Like, I just can't think of...
Just think about this. In February, we were discussing how Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are slumping. And, like,
Exactly.
Jordan Poole wasn't the same since Klay Thompson comes back.
Yes.
They had that game in Dallas where they lose in Dallas. Remember down the stretch, they tied it with Dallas. Moses Moody had a couple threes in that game. But Jordan Poole came off the bench, and that was the first time where I was like, oh, wow, Jordan Poole's finally aggressive. He's fighting his game.
Yes.
Ever since that night, the guy hasn't slowed down, and I'm waiting for him to slow down. I was waiting for him to regress, and he had a bad night in San Antonio where he goes 3 for 19, but he gets to the free throw line like a great player, and he finishes up with 19. So it's like, this guy's a star. He's a bona fide star, and we saw the three-guard lineup
totally
with Steph, Jordan Poole, and Klay Thompson, and I'm thinking, all right, he's not Kevin Durant.
No.
But damn, he gives you a Kevin Durant-like impact at times.
And this is the fountain of youth for the older guys to remain young and squeeze the last drops out of it. Kawhi gave fountain of youth opportunities to Tony Parker, Ginobili, and Duncan. That's what you're hoping to kind of replicate with Jordan Poole. And in a weird way, because he doesn't play the defense that Kawhi does, but his offense actually enhances what the other guys do because it opens the floor up for the most proficient shooters the game's ever seen.
He's going to extend their careers.
No question.
Steph and Klay. He's going to extend their careers. That's how good this player is. All right, we'll keep talking some Warriors. 888-957-9570. He is amazing.
It's
amazing.
It's crazy.
I mean, it really is. And the crowd roars differently now with Jordan Poole goes
He's
nuts.
got the yo-yo handles.
You know, it's like Bosa at Levi's and Richard Sherman when he was a 49er.
Bonds
George
at bat.
Kittle.
Tim Lincecum pitching.
Tim Lincecum pitching. Barry Bonds, of course. Jordan Poole has that type of effect on Chase Center. Wait till you see it tonight.
He's 22.
When he gets going, this crowd roars differently. They roar differently. So,
and all I kept thinking about after the game was, where are all those LaMelo people? Like, where would LaMelo and Poole? Like, I'm not saying it's the right. I'm not even saying it's the right. But I was just thinking, like, I don't think you get Jordan. I think Jordan's better than LaMelo.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
And that's not a knock on LaMelo.
I'd rather have LaMelo. I'd rather have
knock.
Poole because Poole right now plays winning basketball. But at the same time, LaMelo has a lot more on his plate.
Yes.
But
they're totally different situations.
They're different, but I would rather have Jordan Poole.
For this team and this organization, I agree with you.
I would rather have Jordan Poole. All right, more coming up on the Morning Roast. Dave Fleming, 8 o'clock. Nuggets TV color analyst Scott Hastings is at 8:30. Let's switch gears for a second and talk about the Gigantes sweeping the Guardians. Giants and Dodgers tied atop the NL West is 7-2. We'll get into the Giants with a little Games World on the other side. On the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because and help you build a flexible plan for cash flow designed to last, so you can go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, number NYSE SIPC.
Breaking news on 95.7 The Game is brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo.
This is not a drill. This is not a drill.
DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified. Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
Ooh, that's funky. That is funky right there. And the Giants right now are funky. What a weekend for them. Cleveland, Ohio, taking on the Guardians, the Cleveland Guardians. Nobody was at that game yesterday. It was just a rough weekend for Cleveland overall. Cavaliers losing the play-in game Friday night to the Atlanta Hawks. Shout out to DeLon Wright, that great defense there in the second half, letting Trae Young do his thing on offense. Not a Trae Young fan, though. I don't enjoy watching him play. And then the Giants out there in Cleveland sweeping the Guardians. They're now 7-2 on the season. We got some Gaze work coming up, but I have a bold take about the Giants. And not only do I think they'll be good, but Brandon Belt, he comes out on the captain boat. He's got the big C on his chest, and I think it's all corny. I felt about
the electrical tape?
Dude, electrical tape. But I'm just like, all right, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Start out the first pitch. There now, Laura Britt, everybody. Hey, let's have a captain off or whatnot. Who's the bigger captain or who's the real captain in the Bay, Clay or Belt? We're all gonna ride with Clay. He's actually been on the boat in the water. I haven't seen Brandon Belt on the Bay in the water. But you know what? And I tweeted out when he did come out, I was like, yo, he better hit 30 home runs. He better hit 30. Well, this guy, he may have a year like Derek Lee in 05. Derek Lee for the Cubs that year hit like 46 jacks. That was his low, whoa, what is going on here? Derek Lee, 40 jacks?
Yeah, he killed the Giants in that 03 playoffs.
Killed him. Won a World Series with the Marlins, too.
Yeah.
Brandon Belt may hit 40 home runs this year if he's healthy.
40.
He may go 40.
Bonds is the last guy to go 40.
Yeah. I mean, this guy
46
looks like a lock for 30.
05, 04.
Has he had a bad at bat all season? It feels like he hasn't.
Brandon Belt?
Yeah.
No, he's been locked in. Look, we're a week in, okay?
We're
a week and a half in.
So I don't want to go crazy.
Yeah, this is me after one half, Jimmy Garoppolo's an MVP candidate.
Yeah,
that's the equivalent.
Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
No, you're not, though, because he looks outstanding. There's no question about it. I mean, Bonte, he's a completely different guy.
He's batting 345, 3 jacks.
He's on fire.
He's on fire right now. Where's the RBIs at? He's got 7 RBIs. I mean, the on-base percentage is over 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's just locked in.
He looks great.
And maybe there's something with this hitting instructing staff.
Well, there's
Gabe Kapler and company. This guy, him and Crawford look like completely different offensive players. Their presence in the box, and again, they're taking pitches. They're working the zone. But Brandon Belt may hit 40, dude. This may be his year.
Let's go back to Friday night. Joey Bart hits a huge 2-run home run to give them insurance. I think he's the third best player on the team already, Joey Bart. Right now, if we're talking about everyday players, to me, it's Belt, then Crawford, and then you could say Darren Ruff. He doesn't play the field for me, so I have a tough time putting him in there. And he's kind of platooning, I guess, essentially. I think it's Joey Bart. That's a huge development. That's number one. Number two, it's no doubt about it in my mind. Rodon and Logan Webb is as good of a 1-2 punch as the league has. I mean, I'll listen to Bueller and all the different combinations. Obviously, the Milwaukee Brewers online too with Corbin Burns
and Woodruff.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this top to bottom. This staff, pitching wise, is a top 5 staff.
They're really good. They got to tie up the loose ends at the back of the bullpen.
Doval's starting to figure it out. He's starting to figure it out.
Yeah, no doubt. But they started a 4-game series in New York today. If DeGrom was healthy, you could say Scherzer, DeGrom.
With no question, their resumes are way more comprehensive.
I'm not going Darvish, Blake Snell. Blake Snell on the IL already. I'm not going there.
And Darvish got touched up for 9 runs.
Yeah, he did.
An inning and a half.
Yeah, so Rodon and Webb.
How sick is he?
Rodon Friday night. just darting. And that's one thing these starters, Alex Wood, DeSclafani, battled Saturday.
It looked better than the numbers.
No, he battled.
Yeah.
He kept the Giants in the game, and they ended up stealing it late.
He's the weak link because the rest of the staff is that
really good. Alex Cobb, Alex Wood.
We'll see Cobb
tonight.
Yeah,
tonight. Alex Cobb against the Mets. Cobb against McGill. Then we'll see Webb, Rodon, and DeSclafani. Tyrell Estrada. But real quick on the pitching, they have a top-flight pitching staff. And Rodon, he was pumping in his intensity.
How about the way he stands?
I didn't know how intense he was on the mound. He's an absolute bulldog. He's just attacking dudes.
Yeah, and what's crazy about him, so let's have a sophisticated, quick conversation about flame-throwing lefties in the Giants system. Bumgarner did not throw 95, 96, 97.
No.
Bumgarner was a low to, and I'm not dismissing him. He's great. He's a low to mid 90s at most thrower. That's what he was. Johnny Sanchez, same thing. That's what I filed those guys under. We know that Kirk Reeder and the Zito types, they were those soft throwing lefties, They have never had a power arm lefty like this in my lifetime. I can't think of one guy who threw 97. He threw a 99-mile-an-hour pitch in the 6th or 7th inning of that game.
Yeah.
99.
Yeah. He was pumping gas late. Going seven. I'm going to relax on Belt, I know.
No, Belt's having a great start.
But no, Estrada.
He's having a great start.
Estrada, Logan Webb and Estrada. Now it gets me thinking, and this is so far-fetched. We're so long. We're 9 games in. But in case you get in a 5-game series, Rodon to Webb at the top of that rotation. Damn, I feel good about that. Now, who's going to be that third starter moving forward? Because they need a guy to eat innings. You think about Wood, you think about DeSclafani, you think about Cobb. If I get 5 innings a night from those 3 guys.
Oh, then you're money.
Because Webb and Rodon look like locks to go 6 to 7 to 8 innings.
There's no doubt about it. And the other element is that
Randy Johnson, 415.
But Randy Johnson,
he was old.
He was super old, and it was a 1-year deal. And I remember, and he got his 300th win against the Nationals on a rain-soaked night. Remember that play that he made?
It's crazy to think Randy Johnson was a Giant
for that 1 year. Livermore, California. He didn't throw 97, 98, 99 at that point in his career. He was older. Let's acknowledge that. And I'm not dismissing they've had great lefties. My dad's maybe Vida Blue. I don't know if he threw that hard for that era.
It was before our time.
But I didn't see him. I didn't really see
in our
Vida.
lifetime.
That's what I'm going at.
In our lifetime.
Trevor Wilson, Bud Black, these guys were low 90s guys.
Nah, there was nothing like Rodon.
Now maybe Sean Estes was a guy that had promised to be a plus 90s mile-an-hour fastball guy, but he never realized it like this.
No.
I mean, Rodon's he's got Cy Young capabilities in terms of the stuff. Wouldn't you agree?Cy Young stuff.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Here's another arm that I think we've kind of dismissed.
By the way, Hunter Green with the Reds.
Oh, he's ridiculous.
He pumped 38 fastballs over 100 miles an hour.
He's so sick.
So he is sick just thinking about hard throwing. He's throwing 138 pitches of over 100 miles an hour already this early in the season. May want to dial it down a little bit.
And he's fun. And he's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun. Here's the guy that I think...
Rodon's fun. I like Rodon.
Here's the guy that I think is actually going to be really important for this team this year. This Garcia guy, he's nice. I think we have forgotten how good Affeldt was for that bullpen.
Yeah.
He wasn't B-Weezy. He wasn't Romo. He didn't have the beards and some of the celebrations. Garcia got his moments as well for the Giants. Dude, Affeldt was as good as they come. He would come into these high leverage situations. He had the big leg kick, and he had that big hook curveball with a 95+ mile an hour fastball. And he was just a good player for this team for a long time. Garcia's different, but he's filthy when he's on. And he's a lefty that you could throw up for a couple of innings or for a couple of batters and get guys out. I really like him. Then you got Tyler Rogers throwing that underhand ball. You got Jake McGee who closed the game out the other night. They've got 5 legit arms. Leon has had moments. I know he makes people kind of, queasy. But I love this bullpen too.
This bullpen's nice. The bullpen's nice. I want to see more from Duvall. Consistency from him.
It's early.
But this lineup, and a lot of people are freaking out, like me, freaking out about the lineup, man. They outscored Cleveland 16-4. 16-4 in Cleveland over the weekend. So they just shut you down. Look, before the season, we both, I think, agreed on this. They're going to pitch. They're going to pitch with the best of them.
The pitching looks better than even I could have anticipated.
Can you scratch enough runs across the plate?
Yes.
Tyrell Estrada. It's going to be hard to take this young man off the field.
LaStella, I don't think has a spot when he comes back. As a spot guy, I think that's about it. I mean, this guy's defense, going to the left, going to the right, is outstanding. He can run. He's putting the ball in play.
Right.
His splits, righties and lefties, are solid.
Yep.
I mean, again, early. I like what I see, and he's 27.
He's 27 years old. He's getting on base. We brought this guy up last year. Tyro Strider.
And he made plays.
Yeah, well, we were like, this guy got traded over for the Yankees. Who is this guy? Remember we made light of it. We were like, Tyro Strider.
Yeah, I dismissed it.
Yeah, I think we all did. But he made a couple plays early in that season. Then kind of got lost in the shuffle as we see him score on the screen here. This guy's a player, man. LaStella, I would take your time on LaStella. Let Estrada play. I would take the time right now to say, all right, let Estrada play. Let him get these reps.
Yeah.
Let him get the experience because I already know what I have in Tommy LaStella.
Mhm.
He's a good contact hitter.
Yeah.
He's going to work the
He's a
count. Great eye.
Yeah.
Let me see what Estrada has because then maybe I could just bring LaStella off the bench with that team-friendly contract.
Yeah, and maybe LaStella can play a little third base, when he comes back, because I think defensively third base is the spot that they're going to absolutely need some help. I don't know where Longoria is. Slater's been in a deep abyss in terms of hitting. Yaz, I'm still worried about.
I could use an outfield bat.
But they're hoping that Ramos is that guy, and I'm kind of hoping so too.
Yeah,
the Duggar, Slater, Yastrzemski, very redundant in terms of production right now.
Yeah, I do like Duggar's speed, though. You are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco and Odyssey Station, brought to you by DuckDuckGo, privacy simplified. Let's do a little Games World at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. Games World right here on the Morning Roast. What did Gabe have to say about the Giants sweeping the Guardians?
I think we'll go with a little Bohemian Rhapsody, gentlemen. Good call.
When it comes to Gabe Kapler, anything goes.
First of all, I think pressure is always a good thing. The brightest lights can sometimes bring out the best performance.
Now he's been ejected. Kapler's been ejected by Joe West.
Panda costumes and baby giraffes and all of the fans of San Francisco.
Gabe Kapler's 100% right. Kapler launches one. Fair or foul? It's gone! Gabe Kapler has won it!
It's time for Gabe's World.
Gabe Kapler. He's not going to talk about the pitching here. He's going to talk about the variety in their offensive attack. Gabe, what did he say about offense?
We had two guys swing the bat well in like Belt and Craw today. And Craw with the double and obviously Belt with the big homer. And then like Ruff continues to swing the bat well, just not getting rewarded quite as much. And obviously Estrada's been contributing all the way through. So, I mean, we saw a lot of that last year. A lot of our wins came on the back of several different players. It wasn't the same player every night. And we pride ourselves on having an unselfish group. And that means enjoying it for our teammates as well. So lots of contributors is definitely good for our club.
Gabe Kapler, what you think about that, Joe Shasky?
Gabe Kapler's just won me over, wholeheartedly. The guy can do no wrong right now.
You and Mark Willard?
Well, he's got the Midas touch. I mean, you have to give him credit where credit is due. I mean, if you're mad at Kapler at this point, you're not watching every day. Like, the proof is in the pudding. Everything this guy seems to be doing has been working. Now, once he starts to have missteps, I'll be here watching him, and we'll diagnose him. But right now, the body of work is overwhelmingly positive. So it's impossible for me to have any negative feelings toward Gabe Kapler.
No, they look legit. This team looks legit. It's early, very early, 9 games. But when you think about playing clean baseball, defense, not throwing the ball away, throwing it all over the yard like Cleveland did yesterday, turning double plays, situational hitting, knowing when to run. I think the Giants are pulling out all the right stops, so they look like one of the better teams. This series against the Mets, this 4-game series,
fun.
It's going to be a fun one early on at Citi Field.
It is. I'm really looking forward to this. And, you've obviously got the old school Mets unis, which I love, the old Giants font, number one, the orange from the Giants, the blue from the Dodgers. I have always hated the Mets. I don't know about you.
I don't know if,
2000,
I can't stand them.
Yeah, I've always hated the Mets.
I respect them, but I can't stand them. And they've been an overhyped franchise when you consider
no doubt.
how they haven't won anything since '86.
Oh, they're a Jets feel to me on ESPN.
Yeah,
they get disproportionate coverage.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Just as much as the Yankees, but they're 7-3. New ownership group, of course, from last season. Steve Cohen. The Mets look good. The Mets do look good. Right now, their run differential is a plus 26. Giants are a plus 23. So two of the better teams early on in the National League.
I think the A's are like a plus 50.
Well, the A's 5-5. I mean, they're plus 10 right now.
Oh, I thought they were up more than that. Maybe that's just after you omit the first couple of games.
Toronto started smashing the ball over the weekend. Chapman had a couple hits against his former team. But look, baseball's off to a roaring start. Giants off to a big start. Big 4-game series for them. So we'll continue to dissect them as the week goes on. 4-game set starting in New York City, Queens, City Field against the Mets. That'd be a lot of fun as the Giants get off to a 7-2 start and sweep the Guardians. They've won 5 in a row. Dodgers have won 6 in a row, but how about the Warriors winning 6 in a row? 5 straight at the end of the regular season. They win their first playoff game against the Nuggets Saturday night. 58 years since we had a playoff game in San Francisco. First playoff game at Chase Center. It was rocking. Mostly due because of Mr. Money Time. Money Time! Money Time! Money Time! Now, people were going crazy, yelling at me, Shasky. Money Time! Saturday. Money Time! Hey, Bonte, were you on drugs Friday? Were you on drugs? You were hyped up. I was hyped up, man. The playoffs, Shasky. Playoffs are here. Come on.
It was so awesome.
It's too tame right now.
No, it was awesome, man. They got to win tonight. You know, you got to hold home court.
Yeah, you got to hold serve.
Like, as awesome as that game was, and Kerr kind of addressed this in the postgame, and I'm right with him. How many times have we seen a team get a big win on game 1, and then they come back, and it's
game 2.
They either lose game 2 or it's a tooth and nail game, as I call them, one where you're battling back and forth, and it comes down to a possession. I expect a better effort from Denver. And I just expect them to play better. All their role guys, this is the thing I keep thinking about. Jokic is a stud. All their role guys are like lesser than. So they're not going to play as well on the road, especially in a game 1 of a playoffs. I feel like tonight we're going to get some better performances from some of those ancillary pieces from the Nuggets.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to come out desperate. They don't want to go down 0-2. 888-957-9570. Your key to the game tonight. Game number 2. What adjustments can the Nuggets make against the Warriors in that small lineup?
What did you think of the Warriors' allocation of minutes? Obviously, Steph Curry not starting the game. We kind of both love that metaphor, the message that he sends to the team, in that it's all about championships. And it doesn't matter if I'm starting or not. I'm going to do what's best for the team. But like Belly getting some run. I thought Belly had moments.
Bia. Might be
GP2
back in rotation.
Getting back in there. Obviously, Looney in and out. They kind of had a very tight bench.
I liked it.
Me
too. I thought Steve Kerr pulled all the right strings Saturday night. Rotation. I don't think he left throughout the duration of that game, 48 minutes. I don't think Poole or Steph, one of those guys were on the floor. I love that.
He staggered it so that one guy was always out there, and you have to. We were calling for this earlier this year.
Yep. I mean, Steph's on the floor. Poole's on the floor. Clay's roaming around. Wiggins is roaming around. I thought Steve Kerr had one of his best performances of the year. And, we're discussing like finalists for all the awards, right? Jordan Poole is not a finalist for most improved player. But what about coach of the year? Honestly, Steve Kerr doesn't even get mentioned.
Who are the 3 candidates?
So I believe it's Ime Udoka for Boston.
I mean, he had a really good year. And he's
he wasn't a finalist.
No, he was not.
I actually
Ime
think
Udoka wasn't a finalist?
I think he was omitted too. Yeah.
Because Boston went 28-7 in the last 35 games.
Yeah, there's a lot of candidates.
Who you got, Langford?
Hang on. It was the finalists were, and this is what
the Grizz coach.
This is what was posted yesterday. It was Monty Williams from the Suns, Taylor Jenkins, and who was the other one? I still need to pull that up. Hang on. I got to find this one here. Taylor Jenkins and Eric Spoelstra from the Heat.
Miami Heat. They had a great year. I mean,
those were the 3 finalists.
Warriors had the 3rd best record in all the NBA. Let me make the argument for Kerr. He's not going to win Coach of the Year. I get it. But the thing about the Warriors winning 53 games, Steph misses 18, Clay misses 50, and Draymond misses 36 games. Your big 3 had only played 11 minutes together before Saturday night. Jordan Poole, we didn't know he was going to stand here. Wiggins, playing Jonathan Kuminga. Like, Steve Kerr doesn't even get mentioned, Shasky. Nobody, people complain about Ime Udoka. They may complain about, say, Coach Bud, Budenholzer, maybe Doc Rivers in Philly, Ty Lue in L.A., even though the Clippers didn't even make this freaking playoffs. Ty Lue still got a lot of love. Steve Kerr got no love. He doesn't even get mentioned for Coach of the Year. And you sit back and think, wait a minute, the Warriors had what? The 3rd best record in the league? 53 wins? Just got to scoff at it and laugh.
Yeah, I just think it's a loaded category this year. And he does deserve recognition. I understand why he's not there, though. Like, when I first saw the list, you sent us the text last night. I was about to go to bed, super early. I was exhausted from Easter. And I'm looking at it, and I'm looking across all the different candidates for the various categories. And I wanted to be triggered. But then, upon reflection, I was like, I get it. Like, it makes sense. Like, all three guys in Most Improved that Jordan Poole would have been in, they were all All-Stars this year.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to knock that,
it is.
Although my argument would have been John Morant was already kind of a star.
He's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, so I don't know how you could be most improved, but he did, I think, uptick his points total 8 or 9 total points.
He went from
20 to 27
to 27, which is impressive.
It is, but he also missed 20-something games.
Poole went from, I know Desmond Bane, who I thought deserved consideration, went from 9 to 19. Miles Bridges went from 12 to 20. I don't know. We're nitpicking here, but not a single Golden State Warrior on these finalist lists.
So, going back to the coach thing, I just looked it up because I didn't know. Popovich, how many do you think he's got?
Coach of the years?
Yeah.
Maybe 1.
He has 3.
3.
Only 3 guys have 3. Okay, Nelly, Popovich, and Pat Riley. All right, and then you go down, how many guys have 2? Hubie Brown, Budenholzer, Mike D'Antoni, Cotton Fitzsimmons, Thibodeau, Gene Shue, and Bill Fitch.
Phil Jackson didn't.
He does not have 2. He's not on this list.
Does he have 1?
I think he has 1. Let me look. I'm looking at the list.
Phil Jackson doesn't have more than 1 Coach of the Year.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That is wild. Del
Harris has 1. Mike Dunleavy has 1. Let's see.
Del Harris and Mike Dunleavy.
I don't see 1 for him. No.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Let's go to Dirty real quick.
Phil Jackson, 95-96 won when they went 72-10.
That's unbelievable. Dirty, we're going to get to you on the other side.
11-time champion.
888-957-9570.
That is kind of wild.
That is wild. What's your most impressive? What was the most impressive part about Saturday? The most impressive aspect of Saturday's game for the Golden State Warriors against the Nuggets as they take a 1-0 lead. We'll dive into it. They'll get back to the Giants at 8 o'clock with Dave Fleming, and then back into the Warriors and Nuggets at 8:30 with Scott Hastings, the color analyst for the Denver Nuggets. That's all coming up. Brought to you by Whole Foods Market.
Save on dinner favorites at Whole Foods Market. Get Nyman Ranch and Welshire Farm spiral cut hams for $5.
of linen, you can feel as good about your sheets as they feel against your skin. Plus, Boll & Branch focuses on quality over quantity because higher thread counts are not always better. Their signature hemmed sheets are made from lightweight organic cotton that gets softer with every wash. And they come in 7 colors from twin up to California King. Best of all, Boll & Branch gives you a fair price and a 30-day risk-free trial with free shipping and returns. So experience the best sheets you've ever felt only at bollandbranch.com. Get an exclusive 20% post-sale discount now through the end of April at bollandbranch.com with promo code SAVE. That's BOLLAND branch.com. Promo code SAVE.
Bay Area Panthers are coming to SAP Center on May 7th, and 95.7 The Game has your shot at tickets. Tune in on Wednesday for your chance to win your way in.
Matchup getting spicier. Gordon goes up and under on the drive, missed it. Rebound Clay. Chest pass to Poole. Poole, 3-on-3. Drives in, goes up with a Euro step. It's good and a foul! He got fouled by Will Barton. He's going to the line. Wow. Just slowed it down just a little bit on Barton, ripped it through, and somehow flipped it up and in.
I mean, what an amazing move.
Now, back to the morning roast with Fonte and Shasky.
I guess the question of the day, too, is how was Chase Center in its playoff debut? How was Chase Center? Did it pop through the television? I was there. Felt like a really good crowd. Once they got rocking and rolling into the second quarter, where the Warriors outscored the Nuggets 64-43 in the second and third quarter. How was Chase Center? How did it pop on your screen, Shasky?
I mean, it felt like it was really loud. I mean, again, I'm on the couch watching on TV. It felt like it was really loud. I thought I could feel the energy through the television. I mean, I like Doris, and so I thought the broadcast and
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones. I always want to call him Jason Jones, so that's not Mark Jones. He does a great job, and so I enjoyed it thoroughly. What I did not enjoy, because I was going back and forth between the two, was Michael Wilbon, Stephen A. Smith screaming at each other in pregame.
Boy.
It was so bad.
What were they doing?
Well, you guys went to commercial, so I had flipped over to ABC, and they were like yelling at each other essentially. It felt
what?
very first takey.
About what?
I don't know.
So you
all
saw
kinds
during the
of
Memphis,
different NBA games.
You saw during the Memphis-Minnesota game, Langford's laughing. He knows where I'm going here. The audio goes out.
Okay.
So I thought the aliens were taking over.
Oh.
I'm like, either that or I need a new TV.
Thank you, Predator.
So I changed channels.
Mm-hmm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's best work, by the way. Changed channels to see if my
Is
television.
it Terminator?
No, it's not. It's Terminator 2. Terminator 2 is, I think.
Kindergarten Cop?
That was pretty good, too. But I changed
Last
channels.
Action Hero?
No, that was bogus. That was bogus. That was a sneaky good movie.
It was sneaky good, though.
I saw that at San Fran.
Kindergarten Cop was a good one.
It was good. It was good, no doubt. So I'm going back. I go back and I'm like, what's up with the audio issues? So they go back to the studio.
Uh-huh.
ESPN does, and it's Stephen A. Smith, Jalen Rose, and Mike Greenberg.
Jalen is so insufferable to me.
I like Jalen. I think he's underutilized there.
Oh.
Jalen has to sit there alongside Stephen A. Smith, who obviously doesn't watch the game. Mike Greenberg, who's overused in ESPN.
Yes.
And I don't, they're
trying to squeeze the money at.
Right. I don't know what Greenberg's
Talking about
good
the
at.
Jets.
Like, it's not a good production.
Yeah,
it's not a good show.
Well, Jalen is better on pre and post game shows than he is. Like, I think his radio show is very, he just talks down to you the entire time. So I'm just not big on him on that. But he is good in the basketball setting.
I was a big Jalen and Jacoby fan.
Well, they missed Chauncey Billups on those
They do.
pre-games. I really like Chauncey.
They're calling the game, right, for basically the entire first quarter.
Oh.
Because the audio was out. And it was awful. Did you hear the audio, Stephen A. Smith and them?
Yeah, for the little bit that I caught, it was just a hot take every single shot. It's like Desmond Bain makes a three. He needs to do this the rest of the series. I love Stephen A.
It was too much, man. It was way too much.
Did you guys hear Stephen A. when he saw James Harden walking down the tunnel?
No.
In the jacket?
What'd he say?
What the hell is he wearing? What is that?
That's it.
Save that on the board forever.
Oh,
what the hell is he wearing? What is that?
Are we all rooting against Philly? Just because of Harden?
We are.
Right?
I am. I mean, some other people may have other reasons for rooting against Philadelphia.
I kind of want to just see them get far enough to play the Nets.
Oh, is that what you want? That would be fun. I'm kind of here for that one too. Nets losing. While we're here, before we get back into the Warriors, the Kyrie thing.
Do we have the audio? Let's go to Dirty. Let's find the audio of Nick Friedel put out a masterclass.
Unbelievable.
In journalism, how to ask a question and how to follow up. Nick Friedel, that's some of the best work. That we're going to play that in a second after Dirty. But and I'll explain on the other side. Let's get to Dirty about the Warriors game first. Dirty and Allen Rock. What's happening, Dirty?
Good morning, guys. Yeah, man, there's a couple things I wanted to touch on, but I'll make it quick. I know y'all got a busy show. So I can't agree with anybody hating on Kerr. He ain't in the mix because they expect greatness. He pulls all the right strings during the playoffs. He ain't worried about finishing in the first seed. Now, skipping that, you guys played the clip of the best play of the night when the game switched was when Jordan Poole got the N1, obviously. But as a collective unit, what I noticed, what I wanted to see because we were outside and we're going to be outside, I wanted to see the quickness and the jumpiness and the readiness and the second opportunities and third messy opportunities and get those buckets and get those extra opportunities. And the tip-outs were on point. Porter, Payton, everybody was crashing. Looney not giving Jokic an inch and switching with Draymond perfectly. The bodies that were putting on Jokic, they wore that man out. He was on the bench breathing so heavy, man. It was like he shouldn't come back into the game. It's over. But what I wanted to touch on, man, about what you guys were just talking about, it was a real awkward set. And all them dudes, some of them dudes don't even watch Dubs ball. I can't take some of them serious sometimes.
I'm with you.
Good call, Dirty.
Here's the best part about it. I thought the offense, because there's a defensive element of how they had defended Jokic, which sometimes they went straight up, sometimes they threw an early double team, sometimes a late double team. They mixed and matched the personnel that was guarding him. For me, it was how they attacked him offensively. You could tell every single guy, they were like, hey, we're going to either run up high pick and roll and force him to come out on one of our smaller guards, and then we're going to blow by him. Right. Or if our roller gets the ball and Jokic stays with the roller, that guy's going to attack him at the rim. And I thought they did a really good job staying dedicated to that. Draymond did it a couple of times. Looney did it. Wiggins did it on one occasion. I like the strategy of forcing him to defend, and he was exhausted.
He was exhausted. And again, Jokic is shooting, he went 0 for 4 from 3 Saturday night. Since March 1st through the end of the regular season, he shot 21% for the three-point line. Those legs are heavy and tired because all he's done is carry the Denver Nuggets all season long without Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. Jamal Murray may not play in this series. Michael Porter Jr. is taking it game by game.
Okay, on the Jamal Murray thing, it was interesting. Doris Burke kept saying over and over and over again, there's the physical hurdles, and then there's the mental hurdles of returning to this court where he hurt himself. And I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Well, we brought it up Friday. Where maybe that's the issue. Tearing your ACL at Chase Center.
I know.
You're playing the Golden State Warriors, and you're like, oh, boy, my first game back here? I don't know about that. Maybe he comes back in Denver, but that's talking about facing your fears.
She said it like 5 times.
Did she? I didn't even realize that. I couldn't hear the broadcast.
Maybe I was more cognizant of it, but she kept going back to it, and I was like, wow, like that.
Maybe that's what it is.
Clearly, someone said something to her about the mental thing, whether it was him or indirectly, because you don't just repeat that on a broadcast unless that was given to you.
I mentioned that. I don't know if it was on the show or. I
no, you did. You referenced it late last week, but it didn't resonate with me, and I apologize.
No, it's all good. No, because I watched the replay of the Warriors game, and I had it to sound off. I was just watching the game. Didn't really listen to the announcing or whatnot, but that's interesting that Doris Burke would say that. Dirty was talking about all the ancillary pieces and the way Steve Kerr pulled on the right strings, the hustle points. When I look at hustle points, this is where the game is won to me. Plus 11 from the free throw line. Warriors to go 21-29. I like the percentage to be a bit better. But the Nuggets 10-13. Only 13 attempts. They make 10. Warriors make 21. That's a plus 11 right there for the free throw line. You look at the three-point shooting. You're plus 5 threes made. Plus 15 from the three-point line.
Clay hit a couple early, and it felt like it just kind of like
simmered
like
everything down.
Yes.
What about second chance points?
Yes, give it to me.
Warriors 20. Nuggets 8.
Wow. That's really good.
That's really good. That's a plus 12.
And they got the two bigs, and you really don't have a traditional, 7-footer. That's good.
And you get the offensive rebounds where the Warriors out-rebound the Nuggets on the offensive glass 10-9.
GP2, just all over the floor, and just that block on Jokic. he's just such a great weapon. I don't know necessarily if he's going to be utilized to the same extent in this series as maybe in a different matchup. When he gets on the court, it feels like positive things happen defensively, and the transition game opens up.
Don't forget, tonight, tickets are still available. Tickets are always available for all playoff games at Warriors.com, even when sold out. Some season ticket holders will resell their tickets on Warriors.com. It was electric on Saturday, and I agree with the 510 on the Xfinity mobile text line. Man, fellas, Saturday was amazing. Chase Center was rocking. My buddies and I agreed it felt like a game in Oracle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there were people that were just there to be there, but we had the hallways chanting Warriors before and after the game, and there was a deafening Warriors chant, the whole Warriors. Yeah. It was loud at one point in the third quarter.
Well, I'm hoping that we get a closer game for the simple fact that I want to see what that arena feels like in the fourth quarter of a close game. Because that felt like we were running away with it. When did they empty the bench? 2.5 minutes?
Yeah, Kuminga and company played like the last 3 minutes of change.
Yeah, people were calling for Kuminga way too early. Like, come on, man, the guy's 20. We're in a tight game. Just roll with what we have. I like the Titan bench.
Let's hear from Curry on his Oakland shoes and Chase Center and what he thought about everything.
Knowing we hadn't been in the playoff series since Oracle, so kind of passing the torch off. There's also some tech stuff in the shoes for my foot just to kind of make sure I was in good shape. So I was like my Forrest Gump. I just trying to learn how to run and walk again situation. It was great. There were some great moments. And like I said, it's still a young building and environment, and you're trying to find its identity. But, it was loud at times and went on some runs. There was a moment by the end of the third, I think we got up to like a 18, 20-point lead, 18 or something like that, and GP got fouled on transition. It was almost because the lead was so big, you lose like the anxiousness of the moment. And that's where you remind yourself, like, this is a playoff game. Like, every possession is important. I started pointing at the scoreboard, like, trying to get everybody hyped. You got to build on that momentum every game to create that home court advantage. And it's been great. So it's only going to continue to get better as the stakes kind of get higher and higher.
The acoustics are so good there because they rain everything in. The Warriors did a great job of building that. And Tim Roy was telling us, and Bob Fitzgerald was on last week at Steiny Guru talking about the acoustics and the way they built this building to make sure that they keep that noise in there in Chase Center, the way it reverberates around the building there. So I thought Chase Center was solid.
Steph Curry, I'm not. I don't think you are, but I understand there are some people out there that are a little concerned about Curry and where he's at. I think we'll have a better feel as this series continues to move on. Rust, how do you quantify? Like, how do you even quantify, like, health versus rust versus assimilation?
I look at the ball handling. I look at the shot making. Little loosey. Yeah. Some of the passes were loose. Then I wanted to just see him start and stop. Can he cut laterally? How's he moving laterally? Early on in that basketball game, when he got in the first quarter, played the last 6 minutes of the first quarter, he wasn't looking for a shot.
No.
And he didn't take a shot in that stretch.
No.
He took 7 in the second quarter, but he was 1 of 7 in that second quarter.
It felt like when he finally hit the one, it was like, finally it went in.
He was taking those heat check threes in the second quarter. Yes. And he looked a little discombobulated when he was giving the ball up. He wasn't moving.
Iron.
Yeah, he wasn't moving off the ball. He wasn't cutting. And I just, obviously he's probably like, man, I got the spray left foot. There's a bow bruise. I don't want to re-aggravate it at all. He checked out fine. That was good. And by the way, the jacket he had on after the game, I don't know if you saw it.
I don't think I saw it.
That was next level. That jacket
I was too transfixed on E40's outfit sitting next to you.
Oh, the custom Louis Vuitton?
Tell me we got the sound at some point of him saying that all the other rappers are jealous of him
because
of his team.
Because of his teams.
E40's the best.
He said the Giants, Niners, and Warriors. He goes, all these other rappers jealous of me. I got squad. 40's the best. We'll get him on the show later this week. E40, the goon with the spoon.
Yeah.
The goon with the spoon.
Got a full line of food like Master P.
No doubt about that.
But the Curry thing is a little... I'm not worried.
Minutes restriction.
I'm not concerned.
Minutes restriction so far.
Bonte, like the eye emoji, the monocle, I'm monitoring it.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
That's where I'm at
We're
now.
watching.
Like, I'm just seeing what's going on and seeing where... Now, I think that he can ramp himself up, I know you hate that term, throughout this series to get ready for the next one. And I'm not dismissing the Nuggets, but I think that that's got to be the big takeaway, because if you want to go on a run, you're going to need Curry at some level. But I also think this is a perfect opportunity for Jordan Poole to assimilate himself into the playoff experience, because it's one thing to have a great individual game. I want to see him back it up. right? That's how you validate yourself, and get in there. And also, what do you do in a close game when things get congested in the half court? That felt like a free-flowing game. It didn't feel like a normal playoff, Like I'm watching last night Bucks versus Chicago.
Yeah.
Now, these two teams, the Nuggets and Warriors, don't have the defensive,
pedigree as those two teams.
But that game was way more playoffs last night in that series than what I saw in the Warrior game.
Even Boston and Brooklyn. That crowd was hyped in Boston.
Oh, well, I mean.
They were hyped in Boston.
We'll get to Kyrie.
We'll get to Kyrie in just a second.
You know where I stand on Boston.
But I was a little surprised on the pregame show. I didn't hear Sacked in my ear. He was basically yelling. It was a lot going on. So I didn't hear about Jordan Poole starting in that game. So we go to start lineups. I'm like, Jordan Poole? Wait a minute. Is this a typo? What's going on here? Somebody messing up back at the studio? But Jordan Poole, he did get to start in this first ever postseason game. And he was asked about it after the game.
Just try to make the most of my opportunity when I'm out there. Just continue to be aggressive and play my game, and all my teammates and coaches tell me just to be me, within the offense and really try to help us win a game. You never really know. Games change all the time. Adjustments change. So you got to be ready. You got to be prepared night in and night out.
And then he was asked about playing in his first playoff game.
There's no better feeling than having the guys behind you who've already been through the fight. They've been through it at the highest level. Knowing that if you make any mistakes, you got those guys that'll pick you up. Thankful to be out there on the court with those guys and trying to learn as much as possible, so I could continue to put our team in situations to win. Did it fulfill? I haven't got there yet, but probably if I reflect on it a little bit, it might. To be honest, when you out there, it's just basketball.
Jordan Poole, 30 points in his playoff debut, 9 of 13 from the floor, 5 of 7 from the three-point line, and he broke some records here. Jordan Poole, according to the Elias Sports Bureau, at 22 years old, Jordan Poole becomes the youngest Warriors player to score at least 30 points in their first career playoff game. Previous youngest player was Wilt Chamberlain when he did it at 23 years old and scored 35 in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch Richmond, he tied Mitch Richmond there, scored 30 points. Mitch Richmond was 23 years old when he scored 30 in his Warriors playoff debut. So Jordan Poole, 22 years old, and he's already hit the most threes in his playoff debut in Warriors franchise history. He hit 5 Saturday night. Steph Curry did it when he hit 4 back on 4/20 in 2013.
So I'm looking at that 2013 Game 1 box score right now, Warriors versus the Nuggets. This was back when George Karl and Iguodala were on the Nuggy Nugs.
And Iguodala was politicking to come to the Golden State Warriors.
So here's the starting lineup for that team, that game, Game 1, which they lost. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Bogut, David Lee, Harrison Barnes, Jared Jack off the bench, Carl Landry, your boy Festus out there with an 0 for 1. But listen to the debuts, the playoff debuts for Klay and Steph Curry. Steph Curry, 19 points. Klay Thompson, 22.
Wow.
Now, all these people obsessed with plus minus. Klay was a -9.
Oh, gosh. And they won the game.
No, they lost this one.
Oh, no, they lost at the last second. That was the layup game, and then they came back and won game 2.
And then they destroyed. They
them.
just put on an onslaught. Draymond Green played 4.5 minutes in Game 1.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
That's crazy.
4.5 minutes.
That was crazy.
David Lee played 29 minutes. So just interesting, just to give you some context, I was thinking about playoff debuts in Bay Area history, just recent memory.
Right.
And Logan Webb, Game 1.
Logan Webb's good.
Logan Webb, Game
Webb's
1
a good one.
was a good one. I was thinking about Tim Lincecum against Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where he came out and had the 14 Ks.
That one pops. That one, because
No
it was
doubt.
a 1-0 game.
And they won the World Series.
They went, but
so it kind of sets the tone.
Logan Webb's was slept on.
Oh, big time.
I've already forgotten about that.
Dude, and then he backed it up in Game 5.
Yeah, no, Logan Webb's a really good call.
Yeah, and he was awesome in that game.
Yeah, he was
and
awesome.
And then I was thinking about Nick Bosa against Minnesota, that game that he was just on fire.
Yep.
And Jordan Poole's, I feel like, is as good as any of those. Maybe the Timmy one notwithstanding, but Timmy was a little older and more established than where Poole's at.
He already had the Cy Youngs. Jordan Poole hasn't even got there yet.
No.
I mean, unbelievable. 14
it's a great
points.
Performance.
14 points in that second quarter. Finishes with 30. He was the best player on the floor alongside Draymond Green. Draymond Green, when he scores 10 or more points over the course of his career for the Golden State Warriors, over the course of his career, when he scored 10-plus points in a game, the Warriors are 225 and 53. 225 and 53.
For me, it's not like he hit the 3, which we had to beg him to take that 3 at the top of the corner, top of the key. It's the attacking. That's what I wanted to see from him, that attacking. And I love the way he attacked, because not only is he attacking Jokic to try to get him in foul trouble, once Jokic is in foul trouble, he's going to give you some of those layups.
He is.
He's going to give you some of those layups. So I want to continue that trend. I think him getting just a little more offensive aggression is a great thing for this offense.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you there. By the way, let's get to the Kyrie stuff. Let's get to the Kyrie stuff for a second. Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets lose to the Boston Celtics. What a play there at the end. Final possession for the Boston Celtics. All 5 players of the Celtics touched the ball on that final possession where Jason Tatum spins against Kyrie Irving and hits that game-winning layup at the buzzer. And then Kyrie's putting on a show. Kyrie had a special game. I mean, the guy had 31 of 15 shots. He was the dagger 3 that I thought was a dagger. We see that before in the Bay Area. But Kyrie doing his thing there in Boston, but obviously he forced his way out of Boston. And, you know, after saying, oh, yeah, I love this town. It's a real basketball town. Then he forced his way out of Boston. And so they're on him. They're always on him. They're chanting things at him. They're being hostile towards him. And so he hit a 3 and stuck the finger at him. And then during one play where he's inbounding the basketball, he's looking at ball, saying, yeah, whatever, cry, you guys stink. So after the game, our very old cousin Nick Friedel of ESPN, who's covered the Brooklyn Nets now, was in the presser, and he asked Kyrie Irving about the hostility towards him. And then this back and forth transpired. Let's take a listen. Cousin Nick and Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie, to that point, do you feel like the hostility that you get still?
Let's not focus on this. Like, ask me questions about the game. Like, it's not about the fans. The fans aren't playing.
From a basketball standpoint,
yeah.
Do you feel like the hostility you get?
There's no hostility, bro. It's basketball.
Well, you were flicking some people off. I'd say that's some hostility.
From what? What point? Are you guessing that that's hostility, or like hostility for me is like growing up?
Well, we've never seen that from you this season, where you are running down the floor flicking people off.
This is the first time you actually caught it, because it's a big-time game. I respond in different ways. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to focus on that. If you want to ask me questions about the fans, go ask them. Go on the street and ask them questions. All right?
But I'm asking from your perspective, from a basketball perspective, do you feel like the hostility that you get...
It's not hostility, bro.
Do you feel like the energy you get from fans in this building brings out the best from you?
Embrace it. Embrace it. It's the dark side. Embrace it.
That was Cousin Nick and Kyrie Irving. Cousin Nick did his damn thing to hold his own.
He was awesome.
And by the way, 408 Xfinity Mobile text like Colin Kaepernick's first playoff game was really good.
No, it was outstanding.
Epic.
He ran for 190 yards and threw for almost 300. Yeah, how did I forget that one?
How did we both forget that one?
That's a great call. But on the Kyrie thing, so he flipped off. I saw videos where he flipped off at least twice. Some are saying 3, but I saw 2 on the court. Then he cussed at someone as he was walking in the locker room. Like one incident, okay, I'm willing to give you a pass. When you do it over and over again, it's like, come on, Kyrie. Like, I'm not Mr. Like, I'm triggered, I'm outraged, the children. But on some level, it's like, Kyrie, can you show a level of maturity? You've been in the league for a long time.
Right.
You got to understand, like, it is bigger than you sometimes, and you do get paid. I'm not saying that you know, who knows what kind of language was used and directed toward him. I'm not here to exonerate the fans, but you get paid the big bucks, and part of getting paid the big bucks is you got to learn how to deal with the fans, whether they're out of line or not, you know, and it's unbecoming. I mean, that's really what it is. It's unbecoming of a superstar. And
how about Cousin Nick holding his own now, going back and forth saying, hey, look, loved it. I'm discussing the energy for the basketball game.
But he's right.
Can you get into that? And Kyrie, I tell you about an incident I had with Kyrie in the locker room. They had played the Warriors.
Really?
This is on a small scale. But
how long ago was this?
This was 2017.
So he's
2017.
Still with Cleveland.
Yeah, I like that. I like that late for it. He's still with Cleveland. And they played them on Christmas.
Hi, I'm Bonte Hill, 95.7 The Game.
Yeah, basically, hey, Bonte Hill, 95.7 The Game. Can you discuss the rivalry that you guys have been building here? You guys have met 2 straight finals. You know, you're on course to be for a 3rd straight time.
Was this the Christmas game?
Christmas game.
Wow.
Christmas
I remember that game.
And I was like, we want to discuss this rivalry. And this was when the Halloween cookies came out. The Halloween party, the 3-1 bed and all that stuff. And he goes,
R.I.P.
rivalry.
Klay Thompson
He goes,
statue.
rivalry? What's a rivalry? And I'm like, well, when 2 teams play a lot for big stakes, and there's hostility. And he goes, well, when I think about rivalry, I think of Bulls, Pistons, and yada, yada, yada. I was like, all right, Kyrie. And then once the scrub was over, he's shaking his head at his PR director. Rivalry? What are you talking about? Rivalry? It was like, Cleveland and the Warriors had a rivalry in the finals.
Yeah.
It's a valid question. What do you think? What is it like being in this? You guys are the two marquee teams. You don't like each other. You're playing for big stakes. Talk to me.
Well, he's so talented. Like, the talent is undeniable. It's the attitude and the dismissal of everything and everyone at every turn.
Can you believe Kevin Durant married himself to him? He's a great player.
No, he's awesome.
A fascinating player.
No, I would not want to work with him every
Think about what Kevin Durant's gone through this year. And some fans may say, well, you picked Brooklyn. But Kyrie with the whole vaccination thing, the James Harden scenario. Now you got Ben Simmons getting a new haircut every single night. Like, it's just, I'm looking at Katie like, damn, you signed up for that.
But let's juxtapose these two, because on a night where Steph Curry comes off the bench, I kept thinking about, like, damn, man, like, Steph comes off the bench.
Yep.
How many other stars would come off the bench in this situation, coming back from injury? Not many. Like, and maybe I'm
Not
giving
many at all.
Maybe I'm giving Steph too much credit, B.
No, I don't. I think you're right. I don't know how many starters come off the bench.
And I feel like it sets the tone for we're here to win a championship, right? And again, this organization, it's all about Steph. JP does not become JP without Steph and the aura and everything about him, the on-court gravity, etc. But on the night when Steph comes off the bench and he's the ultimate team player, and partly why Jordan Poole has ascended to where he is because he has allowed the organization to be an organization and for the GM to be the GM. On that night, LeBron's at home watching the game on the couch because he had to be Team GM LeBron.
Yep, no doubt.
Kevin Durant is losing the next day to the Boston Celtics because he had to be part GM and have influence on every single guy on that roster.
Don't forget, Kenny Atkinson fired there, had built a good culture in Brooklyn.
And they moved all their developing pieces that were, Dinwiddie and all those guys that everybody liked.
LeVert.
And to go get a super team, how's that working out for these guys? And I go back to Steph, and I'm like, if Steph isn't the team guy, the organizational guy, now he has his imprint on certain things. I'm not here to dismiss it.
Listen,
but he understands how to work the room.
Outside of Tim Duncan, Steph Curry may be the most selfless superstar we've ever seen in the NBA. Outside of Tim Duncan.
I think he's the best teammate I've ever seen in Bay Area sports. Best teammate ever.
Well, Bay Area sports.
In
NBA history.
You think it's just him and Tim Duncan?
Tim Duncan's right there.
That's a good call. I mean, even Magic got Paul Westhead fired.
Right, and Norm Nixon ended up getting traded.
Yes.
Because they both couldn't have the ball, whatever. Jordan didn't really go to bat for Scottie Pippen with the contract.
Yeah.
I may be omitting somebody. Kobe was throwing people under the bus left and right.
Kobe wanted to go to the Clippers, too.
Right, he wanted to go to the Bulls. And, Kobe was rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. LeBron, we know all about him. We know about Westbrook and Harden and all those guys. Steph Curry and Tim Duncan may be the two most selfless superstars in NBA history.
Well, and here's the part that I struggle with.
Hakeem's probably up there, too.
Oh, Hakeem's awesome. There's no doubt. But I don't think Hakeem will be and Hakeem is one of the legends. So that's higher on the list than him.
Right.
And I love Hakeem. I'm not saying that without any, Hakeem might be one of the, two most skilled big men of all time?
Yeah.
Kareem than him in terms of skill.
Right.
Like skill set and what he's got. Anyway, point where I'm going at here is Steph Curry and what he does for this organization, it cannot be, it just cannot be talked about enough. And I look at what Kyrie is, and he flipped off the fans 3-4 times. Why do I feel like Steph throwing the mouthpiece became a bigger deal on national media than what Kyrie just did?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
how is that fair?
Kyrie does it over.
But how's that fair?
Well,
Steph threw it, he didn't throw it out of fan. He threw it out of frustration.
Well, it's LeBron narratives. It's everything. Dave McMenamin was running with that. Dave McMenamin was talking crazy. By the way, Dave McMenamin, one of the only people at ESPN to pick the Nuggets over the Warriors. He picked the Nuggets in 6 to win this series. I'm not saying the series is over, but I see why
Dave
people.
McMenamin picked the Nuggets to win in 6?
Yeah, no doubt. Here's the Steph Curry
on the
decision. Yeah, here we get to KC and Moran in just a second. Don't forget, Warriors game in a day. Tip off against the Nuggets at 7 p.m. Warriors Live starts at 5:30 right here at 95.7 The Game with Damon and Ratto, presented by Xfinity Sports Zone, the ultimate sports hub experience. Don't forget, get your tickets at Warriors.com. Season ticket holders may be selling, so go to Ticketmaster.com to try to get your Warrior tickets for tonight. Game 2, Chase Center will be electric once again. But Steph Curry's decision to come off the bench, let's hear from the man himself.
I have no expectations on what's next. We're always trying to figure this out because this is kind of a tough situation to deal with in terms of the quick ramp up that I've had, and and this is the playoff type intensity and atmosphere. But I learned a lot just from even just watching Clay's come back, knowing there's an energy to start in terms of this. That's what I do. It's what I expect. But there's also like, how can you make those minutes the most impactful? And when I watched him go through it when he came back, that's a long time he was sitting the end of the first and most of the second, and you're trying to find a rhythm. So I want to play kind of, I guess, a constant pace throughout the game, and knowing what my allotment was, that coming off the bench and playing those 6 minutes to end every quarter was probably the right move. And we'll see what happens with me and Rick's conversations with how I come out the game and respond tomorrow and into Monday.
But it's at the end of the day, it's all about getting a win.
Well, I think
team.
It's not just team. It's in relationships. You're in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. We've got relationships between the two of us, with our coworkers, with our bosses, with our family members. Isn't life always about some sort of compromise? If you really want to salvage the relationship and remain friends, lovers, whatever, employees, colleagues, whatever.
Sacrificing.
Right? And knowing the big picture. I always feel like Steph gets the big picture. What's the big picture? Winning a championship.
Right.
Okay? What else is the big picture? Well, if I want to be in a position in the fourth quarter to help this team win, having me come in at the last 5 minutes of each quarter, that will enable us to do that. This isn't about me just getting my points. This isn't about me just getting my stats and getting my, everyone bowing down to me because I should be starting.
Right.
It's always about the compromise and the winning. We can't talk enough about him.
No doubt. Let's go to Casey and Marin now. Casey and Marin, he's on the roast. Wants to talk about fans interacting with players after the Kyrie Irving shenanigans yesterday at TD Garden in Boston. What's up, Casey? Good morning.
Hey, gentlemen, good morning. I think it's a very interesting situation that's come up in the past, 10, 15 years, how fanaticism has changed so wildly from you would go to a game, you would boo your opponent, you would boo play of your own team. If you are creative, maybe witty, you talk some smack. And it started to increase the volatility of how fans interacted with players. But I think what has really contributed to the severity where it's gone is social media.
Yes.
Where people have their phones and they are able to interact on a much closer basis and a one-on-one level with their either team, person, athlete, or brand, whatever it is. And that enables them to have a voice where they are able to tell their opinion about said person, brand, celebrity. And that, the invisibility of them behind their phone, you can say some really bold and brave things in those 140 characters.
Totally.
And be really hurtful and harmful and say really torturous things to somebody that you would never, ever think about saying in life. And now it's sort of happened in real life where these people are going to games and they think, I paid this money, I have this seat, I can say whatever I want to say because I have the protection of the sideline.
Right.
They're an athlete and they should take it. But what's that line? What's that line? Is it the B word? Is it the MF word?
Yeah.
Is it
Here's
talking
Casey.
about somebody's family?
Here's what I would say. Here's what my line of demarcation at the games. I never think that you should be able to bring up anything about someone's family. That's number one. Number two, are you making it uncomfortable for the other paying patrons around you?
Right.
That's my line of demarcation. So if that means you're swearing and making it uncomfortable, that's off limits. If you're telling jokes that maybe a 12-year-old or a 6-year-old or a 45-year-old or a 7-year-old would find offensive and it's uncomfortable for them, that's crossing the line. Like, to me, it's like, they say the definition of pornography in the courtroom is I know it when I see it. That's kind of what it is with fan behavior. Well, I know it's bad when I see it.
Well, it's interesting. I look at it and I joke around with people who watch wrestling as they're older. I'm like, oh, man, there's a certain age you got to stop watching wrestling or whatnot. But there comes a certain age, I believe, when you need to stop heckling.
I agree with that.
If you're a grown-ass man and you're 40 years old and you're out there heckling, around other kids and other adults, like, grow up.
Well, and you're ruining it for the other paying patrons.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I was young. I used to heckle. but it was professional. It was professional.
You were a professional hacker.
Yeah, I kept it professional. I wouldn't talk about their families.
Yeah.
I would talk about their high school stats, or I'd be like, we lost the state championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do your research, and some of the stuff that these fans, and we saw Nurkic grab a phone. We saw Nurkic grab a phone from a patron courtside. We see LeBron point at guys. Westbrook's had to have guys kicked out in Philadelphia.
Did it in golf.
Yeah, like it's getting a little much. And also, you see it on Twitter with people adding these athletes talking crazy. Talking crazy. So Kyrie did say something that wasn't in that clip where he said, a lot of these fans act like they're about it, and then I question them, and they're not really about it. They're not really about that life. Sometimes it happens to us, Shasky. We get ridiculed. We reply to them, "Oh, man, we love you, man. I was just giving you a hard time." Well, your text basically was like borderline personal.
Well, I get a lot of vicious borderline things, and I'm not anywhere near. I mean, I'm like the lowest rung.
We're lowest of the low.
The lowest.
We're not Kyrie. We're not KD.
But we get it, and it's taken me a long time to learn how to mute or just ignore. And it's very easy to say that.
Yep.
It's harder to do it.
Yep.
It really is. The question that I have is like, Kyrie, like, you've been going through this for quite some time. You know that you're just egging on more of it. The one thing I'll give Barry Bonds credit, and Bonds never, for years, was just he got some horribly racially charged comments directed his way at games. Did he ever let the fans know that it affected him?
Nope.
And he handled it gracefully. Now, I don't know how he would react in social media era because now he's older and everything. And I know I see you posting an Easter photo yesterday. I don't know how he would react.
Right.
But it clearly gets to Kyrie. And I think that the fact that he allows the fans to know it gets to him
they're going to continue
them
to
do it more.
Oh, they're going to do it more.
That doesn't make it right.
They're going to do it more Wednesday
does.
night in Boston. By the way, I'm totally sidetracked. Xfinity Mobile text line 408. Mexican Pizza returning to Taco Bell May 19th. Mexican Pizza returning. Let's go to Anthony Highway 4. It's just FYI. Hey, Mexican Pizza. That was a whole hit, man. 4 slices. It was pretty good. Anthony Highway 4. You're on the roast. What's up, Anthony?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing? So, Joe, man, I'm probably kind of surprised that you had the audacity to compare Stephen Curry throwing a mouthpiece to Kyrie.
Oh, no, we didn't compare it.
No, you got to listen. No, I'm saying that the national media lost their minds when Steph did it, and yet I don't feel like Kyrie's going to get.
Wait a minute, hold on. They should lose their mind because you physically hit somebody with something. Kyrie was flipping the bird, so there is no comparison in the two. Because one is worse than the other. And you can't say that the line of demarcation, at least in my opinion, is making fans around you comfortable. Because if the fans support what you're doing at the game, if you went to TD Garden and all the other fans are Boston fans and they support what you're saying, then there is no making somebody feel uncomfortable. Like, everybody's a human and everybody has their limit. Like,
different sensibilities.
Don't go to games because I don't like the smack talk. Like, I don't go to games specifically for that because, like, I'm not the one to take that. Like, I don't want you talking about me or that type of stuff with my Niner gear on or my Warrior gear on. So, like, I stay at home. Like, I know that about myself. So, like, Kyrie, we don't know what they were saying. But flipping the bird, I mean, come on, man. Like, you gotta allow a person to have that human element, and you can't say like he's been dealing with this for a long time. So what? That don't make it right. So like,
so do you think Kyrie was right?
I'll challenge that because I think that, I think he was right.
Yeah, I disagree.
Sorry for raising my voice, but yes, I do. I think he was right.
We'll
because,
just disagree.
It doesn't matter how much money you make or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, you're still a person. And like the caller ahead of me just said, they go too far. We don't know what was said just because.
Right. It is Boston too, Anthony. Hey, Anthony, we got to get to our injury report, but it is Boston too. And they've known to take it too far. Torrey Hunter,
I agree with that. I'm not exonerating the fans.
Bill Russell wouldn't go back to Boston because of some of the things that has happened there for him. So that city, flipping them off. Look, when a professional athlete flips them off, I kind of laugh. I'm like, he's playing to the crowd there. Yeah. But let's continue this after Dave Fleming at 8 o'clock. Tamir, Verducci, Garrett. We have an interview. Stay on hold. Want to get you. A lot of people want to talk about what happened in Boston yesterday with Kyrie Irving and company. But now time for the Boxer and Gerson Injury Report.
It's time for the Injury Report.
That really hurt.
Brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years.
All right, before the Dubs and Nuggets tip off tonight, the Dallas Mavericks will be taking on the Utah Jazz in Game 2. They're hosting that series. They have home court advantage, and they hope to avoid a 2-0 hole before heading back to Salt Lake City. They have to win tonight's game because they may have to win it without the services of Luka Doncic as he continues to nurse a left calf strain. Doncic missed his first game of the series, a 99-93 Jazz victory, and Luka has participated in on-court workouts the last 2 days, but was limited to light shooting during practice. He is currently listed as doubtful for Game 2 against the Utah Jazz. That is tonight, of course, in Dallas. The Injury Report brought to you by Boxer & Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Dave Fleming coming up on the other side. And don't forget, that will be sponsored by the Golden State Warriors. That's right, Golden State Warriors, Game 2 against the Denver Nuggets. As I turn the page, look at it. Oh, that's it. Brought to you by the Golden State Warriors.
Dub Nation. Don't miss the 2022 playoffs presented by Kaiser Permanente.
true. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
You're listening to KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Station. Presented by DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
This is JP here, and you are listening to the Morning Roast with Bonte and the Butcher on 95.7 The Game.
What? Where's that been?
Just got it.
How?
Radio secret, Shasky.
I got love for
go one more time,
Jordan
man?
Poole.
Can you go one more time?
This is JP here, and you are listening to the Morning Roast with Bonte and the Butcher on 95.7 The Game.
Money time!
Money time! Money time!
Money time!
I might have jumped the gun on this, and I'm not trying to trigger anyone, so everyone relax. But I did feel like I had JP's back as a star early in this season when a lot of people were like, you're jumping the gun on this. And look, maybe I'm jumping the gun right now. I just feel like at some point, and it's not this year, it's probably not next year, it's down the future, he's going to get the keys to the Ferrari.
He is.
All right? And he's going to be the leader of this franchise. I see all the star qualities in this kid, right? And you got to do it in the playoffs. That's when you become cemented as a legitimate star. But like charisma, the ability to get your own shot, the ability to elevate others. Obviously, you want to be more of a two-way player, and he's working on those things.
That's fine, but sometimes your offense is your defense.
Scoring at 3 levels. Right. Tell me what this guy doesn't do. I
love Jordan Poole. I love where he's at right now. He's on a heater.
So awesome.
And I tell you what, I love where the Giants are at right now to start the season. 7-2 to start.
Oh.
They've won 5 in a row. They're
3 series in a row.
Dodgers. That's all it's about, Shasky. Winning series.
Yeah.
Stacking series wins up. But let's get to Dave Fleming. He's going to join us every single Monday during the baseball season. No doubt about it. We love Flem on a roast. And first of all, as he is probably already in New York City, man, you must have been freezing yesterday in Cleveland. That did not look fun sitting at that ball game. You look bundled up. Sean Estes looked bundled up. You look at the team. A lot of guys wearing hoodies. Just how cold was it in Cleveland as the Giants swept the Guardians over the weekend?
Yeah, good morning, guys. It was freezing. I mean, it really, I went downstairs just to get a little sense because we do it. You know, we have these little lame heaters in the booth that sort of maybe keep your feet from being totally frozen or whatever. But I thought, well, let me go. I have a half hour before the game. Let me go down and just see what it really feels like. And and the wind was just whipping through that park, and just standing there even for a couple minutes, it was a tough day to play a game. And I said it after the game. I thought one of the most impressive parts about the Giants' weekend was, especially yesterday, to play good defensive ball, to be as focused and concentrated as they were. They just were much cleaner than Cleveland was over the weekend. They played the way you're supposed to play, like the conditions didn't impact them in the least, and I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, and I want to get into Estrada and Belt, and just there's so much to get into. Joey Bart looks outstanding. I got to start with Friday night. Rodon. Is it Rodon or Rodon? I keep hearing it both ways.
Yeah, it's Rodon. I mean, he grew up in North Carolina. He's actually got a little bit of a Southern accent, and so I just defer to the guy. And you're right. I was a little confused, but it's Carlos Rodon.
Okay, Rodon. So I'm not dismissing Bumgarner. He's a legend in his own right. I'm not comparing and contrasting. I'm just saying 97+ mile per hour left-handed fastball. They had Liriano in their system, and he got traded away. We never really saw him come up. I mean, this guy has maybe the best stuff that a lefty has ever had in Giants uniform in my lifetime, okay? And I'm looking at the fastball. I'm looking at his demeanor on the mound and his ability to get that curveball over. He's filthy, Dave. I mean, him and Logan Webb, what a 1-2 punch. When you're watching this guy, I mean, he's got Cy Young ability. He's just got to stay healthy.
I've been astonished. I just didn't have any idea. And I should have. I work in MLB. I should know, but I just hadn't seen enough of this guy up close to know how talented he is. The stuff is incredible. I mean, the laughable thing about Friday was, he allowed a little more contact, and after the game, both Joey and Gabe Kapler were saying, yeah, it wasn't quite his best stuff, but he worked through it. I'm like, okay, that's not his best stuff. Like,
he's filthy.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
I think he's got the best power stuff any Giants left-hander has ever had.
Wow.
It's probably not close, and I don't want to go overboard here, but you could make an argument with DeGrom hurt. Like, who's got better stuff in the big leagues than that? That his fastball. I mean, his fastball alone to me is like the best weapon any pitcher has right now going. So, yeah, look, there's a reason why the White Sox didn't give him a giant contract to keep him around. He had a hard time staying healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The performance didn't stabilize over a long enough period, and they weren't willing to take the risk. But already this guy's paid off for the Giants. I mean, it's just incredible the talent that they picked up in this guy. He's amazing.
Wow. Well, before we even get to the offense, Fleming, we're talking to Dave Fleming on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game. We'll do so every single Monday during the baseball season. Friday night, immediately I thought, do the Giants have the best 1-2 punch at the top of the rotation? I'm already thinking about October now. It's very, very early. We're only 9 games in. But to what you just spoke on with Rodon and Logan Webb, these guys are dealing right now. And as a 1-2 punch, there's not many better in baseball right now.
Yeah, and we're going to have to resist the temptation here because here we go again. You know, like the Dodgers have won 6 in a row. The Giants have won 5 in a row. It's like we're walking down the same exact path.
Yes.
Both teams are 7-2. It's like, are we really seriously going to do this again this year where every single day is going to be – because, I think it's legit that it took a toll on both teams last year. By the end of the year, they pushed so hard to win the division. Now, with the new playoff format, it's possible that there won't be as big of a push for that, which in a way would kind of take away. That would make me sad in a way if it took away a little bit of the drama we experienced.
Yep.
It's just going to be another great season. So I don't blame you for already kind of looking ahead to what could be at the end of the road. And when they get there, they are better equipped this time with that guy. That's no offense to Kevin Gausman, who was a great pitcher for the Giants for a couple of years. Kevin did great work here, but in terms of a playoff 1-2 punch, especially if you're going to face a team that has a split where they really hit right-handed or left-handed pitching, to have both those guys, if they're both performing at a high level going into the playoffs, to me it is a big advantage to have both a righty and a lefty that you trust in those spots because, you can match up based on who your opponent is and maximize the innings that the guys that has the best chance to succeed will get.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Maybe Scherzer and DeGrom could get there. DeGrom, of course, on the injury list. He's out. He's on the 60-day IL list, though. He's had some issues here in the offseason. So Mets, Giants open up a 4-game set in New York City tonight. And you look at the offense, and that was my biggest question mark, the lineup. What are they going to do with the lineup with all the injuries? I'll let Shasky discuss Brandon Belt. But Thairo Estrada, it's going to be tough to take this guy off the field even when Tommy Stella gets back. Thairo Estrada, defensively, offensively, he looks the part, Dave.
He does. He's got tools. This isn't just like an organizational player that you're plugging in and, wow, he does a really good job. He's a scrappy kid and he's going to fight you. And that's not him. He's got the second best sprint speed on the team. Only Austin Slater has a higher sprint speed score than Thairo Estrada. You saw him yesterday. The Guardians botched that defensive play, but he was going to beat it out. They were going to score at least one run on it. That was a routine double play ground ball right to the shortstop, hit hard. Like, that's a double play, and he was fast enough to beat out the throw, even if it was a better throw. And then you saw the power. I mean, the wind was howling in. It was 35 degrees. He was the only guy who, to left field, could muscle up and get one over that wall yesterday. So that is legit power, and it's legit speed, and he's a good defensive player. And add that up, that's somebody who can help you. Now, Tommy La Stella also is going to really help this team, and he can give them a different style at that. So there's going to be room for both of them to play and play a lot. But Thairo Estrada, they found something in this guy. This isn't just like a cool story of somebody who, this is a young player who's getting a chance to play, who who has actual real tools and ability.
Yeah, his ability to go left and right defensively is a weapon. He turns two very well, and he's just a really solid hitter, a solid player. I love what I'm seeing. But Joey Bart, the development with him has been outstanding. Big insurance home run Friday night. I like where he's at. But to me, the early story of the season is it's got to be Brandon Belt. This guy's batting .345 with a 1.13 OPS. He's drawing walks. He's hitting for power. He looks spectacular. Dave, if he can, I mean, we've said this for years, but if he can stay healthy, MVP candidate, I know it's so early. I don't want to jump the gun.
He could hit 40 days.
He looks incredible.
This could be his Derek Lee 05 season when Derek Lee hit like 46 jacks with the Cubs.
Yeah, nobody's gonna assume health because look, that's just the track record, and he's a big guy, and his body's got a lot of bumps and bruises on it, and so they are going to have to manage his workload a lot. And you saw that yesterday. They don't want to take his glove out of the defensive lineup, but he's going to be a DH some days just to try to help keep him as fresh as possible. Yeah, he looks. I mean, last year, you look at the numbers. Last year, he was one of the 5 best hitters in the league, maybe better than that, and he sure looks like the same guy again this year. It's a combination of somebody who's just supremely confident in the strike zone and understands the strike zone as a hitter better than just about anybody in the game, and then has the strength and power when he gets into one to hit it out of any ballpark in any spot. Yeah. And that's just a great combination, and it's a combination that ages very well. If you have power and command the strike zone, there is a spot for you. So I do expect big things from Brandon. We got here to New York last night, and we were getting in the elevator together. And the other thing about him is he really has become like the leader of this team in a lot of ways. And we get in the elevator, and he just looks at me. He goes, "Flem, did you catch me catching the camera and giving that wink yesterday or earlier today?" We caught you, Brandon. We got you. He was just checking to make sure we saw it. Yeah, we got it.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. I mean, look, the guy deserves all the praise right now, and I'm here for all of it. It was good to see him and Crawl both go pretty nuclear this weekend. That was awesome. But I'm looking at the bullpen. We know the recipe for this team when they were winning championships was finding those bullpen arms and slotting them accordingly. They had 3 different closers throughout the 3 World Series runs, but you had the Affelts and the Romos and the Wheezies and the Casillas and those guys, and they were awesome. And I'm looking at the bullpen that they've built right now. Garcia looks like a stud. Then you got Leon, who's going to factor in at some level somewhere. We know Tyler Rogers had a monster year last year. He's so unique and so dynamic. McGee looks really good, and Duvall's coming around. This bullpen, to me, is I think the sustainable part that I'm really encouraged after a weekend, because it feels like these guys are building on what they did last year.
Yeah, I think that's true. They have so much continuity there. That does help. I mean, I think it is very comforting. I've talked to several of them already about that fact, and I think everybody's just really comfortable. They have the same people around them, the same coaches, support staff. That's a big part of pitching in the bullpen. It's a hard job. It's a strange job, and I think that comfort level is much more important than probably any of us really realize for those guys, and they all have it. And so I agree with you on all the points you're making. Sam Long yesterday came into the game and showed some premium stuff.
Sure did.
Like the kind of stuff that made you think, maybe as a swing man, some of that goes away. Maybe as a 1-inning reliever, I mean, he was pounding the strike zone, 95-mile-an-hour fastball with that big hammer curveball. Like that could be a weapon that the Giants could use in a different way this year. The one to circle is Camilo Doval, and he's, look, he is immensely talented, and he's got the absolute perfect mindset for the 9th inning. But it's a huge advantage if you have a guy who can miss bats like he can in the 9th inning, like that, or whatever, against the best hitters in the tightest spots. Like, missing bats is a giant advantage. And right now, I would say Camilo's just a little bit off. He's not quite himself, and so that's an early project for this year, is to build some of that sharpness up for him. He's got plenty of time to do it, and the Giants are going to be patient with him because they believe in him. But that's one to kind of circle, I think, in this early season of what's going on and how to evaluate this team. Like, he makes them different. If he's the guy there at the end of the game, they're even better than they have been.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Flim here on the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game in New York City. And before we let you go, I do want to throw at you what happened last Tuesday night at the Yard. A lot of controversy here. Mauricio Dubal lays down a bunt. Giants are up 11-2. Some people disagree whether or not it was unethical, the unwritten rules or whatnot. Estrada's still in bases in the previous inning. Padres don't like it. You had the whole Antoine Richardson situation. So what did you make of everything there? Because we know the Padres will bat flip with the best of them. They'll showboat. My theory is, hey, look, if the Giants want to do that, that's fine. Just do it all season long so I know you're consistent with those methods. What was your big takeaway from the whole situation last Tuesday at Oracle between the Padres and Giants?
Well, I think the takeaway for me was that it was the first time. It's not like this should have surprised anybody because Gabe has spent some time the last couple of years talking about these sort of issues. But it was the first time I could remember that he came out and then everybody else in that clubhouse came out and sort of spelled out an organizational philosophy of those unwritten rules. We're not buying it, and we're not buying it in either direction. And the Giants, I think that's the key. It's like, okay, we're just going to play the game. The score is not going to dictate how we play the game, but we also expect that from our opponents, and we're not going to take offense if our opponents play that way. And I think if you set the stage that way, like, look, we're not the arbiters of what lead is big enough to do this, or what if you're up by this much, or what are you allowed to bunt, but can you hit and run? Can you shift on defense? Like, it's really hard to argue with the idea of, well, how do you decide any of that stuff? Right. Well, is there a line? Is it the fourth inning? Is it the sixth inning? And so I think in the face of that, it's a very valid argument to say, you know what, we're just going to play our game and worry about it. And if you guys play your game on the other side, we're not going to worry about you. We're never going to take offense on our end. And so that, to me, was the takeaway, was it was the first time everybody in that room together unanimously sort of articulated that that's the way the Giants are going to play. And I have no problem with that. Like, that's how they want to do it. I can see the other side. I can. If it's a football game and you're up by 40 in the third quarter and you're chucking the ball all over the place, is that great sportsmanship? I don't know. Is it? Right. I can see both sides of it, but getting real upset about a bunt in the sixth inning of a game is like, to me, that's just sort of the wrong thing to get upset about.
Yeah, I'd get upset that Darvish gave up 9 runs over an inning and 2/3.
Yeah, and that's sort of the unarticulated part of it is like, tighten up your own stuff and worry about that. How about that? And the Giants would, I think, say the same on their end.
Yes,
like if it were the reverse, like, how about play better and don't get down 10-0
no doubt.
Second inning.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm kind of with you there. Any sightseeing you're going to do out there in New York City? It's a fun town. It gets better and better every time I go. Shats, we're going to get you out there to the Big Apple.
It is a fun town. Last night I stayed out a little too late after we arrived. I went and met a couple of friends downtown, and we found a good little watering hole and spent a little too much time down there.
4 a.m.
pizza? No, I shut it down a little.
It's like, get Flip in trouble, man.
Those are gone. Yeah, those are gone. But I did have a cool experience this morning. I'm talking to you guys from the lobby of the MLB building here on 6th Avenue.
Ooh.
And I came over early before I chatted with you, and I got the full tour of the Replay Command Center.
Oh, nice.
They showed me how Replay works, and I got to talk to a bunch of the operators and the technical coordinators, and saw the MLB offices and talked to a few of my friends in the league office. So that was kind of my checklist for today.
Did you tell them that our guy check swung that ball or check swung that bat in Game 5?
Flores. Yeah. Where's Gabe Morales? I want to talk to him.
Somewhere Mike Krukow is very, very jealous of your visit there at the Replay Center. Flim,
awesome.
It's always fun talking to you, man.
Have fun,
Big
buddy.
series, man. 4 games set early in this season, too. Very early. Giants and Mets. Mets playing well as well.
I hate the Mets.
7-3. 7-3. The New York Mets. This will be a fun series.
They're always
Flip has some great calls.
Really, really fun. This is the run differential. You can tell pretty quickly in a season who's good based on that, I think number 1 Dodgers, number 2 Mets, number 3 Giants. So these are the
run differential, yeah.
By run differential, these are 2 of the 3 best teams in MLB in the early season. The pitching match, we get Webb and Scherzer tomorrow.
Yes,
that's going to be matchups sick. Are awesome.
Yep.
It's just I'm really for an April series. I am unnaturally excited about these 4 games here in New York.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be watching. Flip, have another great call, man.
Thanks,
we
Dave.
enjoy watching on NBC Sports Bay Area.
Talk to you guys next week.
Yep, absolutely.
Best.
Dave Fleming on the Morning Roast. Our weekly. Let's jump back over to the Warriors and Nuggets real quickly there. He said a lot of things there. We can recap that and replay some of that tomorrow as well. Giants in New York City to take on the Mets. Scherzer and Webb tomorrow. Tonight is Alex Cobb and McGill of the New York Mets. McGill's got some good stuff.
Yeah, I swooped him up in fantasy, actually.
I thought about swooping him up.
I did that this morning.
Giolito, how do you pronounce it?
Giolito?
Yeah, I always pronounce it wrong. He's on the 10-day IL, and so I'm like, I need to get a spot starter. This guy will get 2 starts this week. I'm rolling with him.
Ryu was my last guy, and then he got put on the IL. I don't know how long he's going to be there, so I
almost picked him up. He got rocked Saturday.
Fantasy baseball talk.
He got
I'm
rocked.
here for it.
I wanted to pick up Carrasco. Let me stop
Jesse?
talking because all my buddies listen to the show. Carrasco, the Mets, he dealt on Saturday. Didn't get the win against the Diamondbacks, but he may be a pitcher I stream in the future.
And if you want to go deep algorithms, East Coast and the Northeast in general, it's cold right now.
Cold.
And pitching has a little bit of an advantage.
Let's go to Tamir before we get to Scott Hastings. Tamir, what's happening in Oakland? We're talking about Kyrie, the fans, before we shift it over to Dave Fleming. Tamir, what you got?
Hey, what's up, guys? First, I want to say Dave Fleming is the man. I love listening to him. But as far as the Kyrie stuff, I disagree with your first 2 callers saying that it's okay to flip people off and all that stuff. I played hoop, like I tell you guys all the time, and I played overseas, like in Germany. I hear the racist stuff that probably they say in Boston. And for me, growing up in Oakland, that's trash talk, and I love that. I want the fan to yell at me. I want you to cuss me out, say all that stuff. So when I hit that shot or free throw or something else, I can look at you and just say, shh, and the game's over. I want your fans to be into it. That's the whole purpose of playing professional sports. You want someone to talk trash to you. You don't want no offense to golf, Joe, but I don't want the quietness and all that stuff when I'm playing basketball.
I feel you.
Football or something. I want that fan to interact with me and stuff. That's what makes the game the game. I'm not saying it's okay for him to flip people off. I would look at somebody if they flip me off, whatever, but I'll just smile, nod my head, and just go play basketball and go right back at you. And when I score, I look at you, nod my head. That's basketball.
Well, and I don't. You're right, and I don't expect every single person to deal with it exactly the same way.
Right.
But when you do it that many times in one night, Kyrie, it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll allow a little bit of variance.
I don't think Kyrie did anything wrong yesterday. I didn't mind the middle flipping off the fans. I mean, he's going to get fined.
Well,
but fans, they come at Kyrie hard.
The max fine is $50,000.
Hard.
No, they do. The max fine is $50,000. Will he get fined all for one? Or 50 for each individual action.
That's not a $50,000 offense.
Well, that's what they say. $50,000 is the max
that's
for.
That's not, dude. Fine him $10,000 and move on. $50,000 for that.
How much is he making this year? $40 million?
I don't care how much he's making. He could be making $40 billion.
I'm not trying to pay any tickets.
$50,000? That's ridiculous.
It goes to charity.
$10,000. Come on. What's coming up? Brought to you by Outdoor Supply Hardware. Scott Hastings, Denver Nuggets color analyst. He'll chime in to see what the Nuggets can do in Game 2 to try to steal a game at Chase Center. That's coming up on 95.7 The Game.
Shop the Garden Party Starter Sale at Outdoor Supply Hardware. Our garden centers are loaded with locally grown.
driving around jealous. It's all good, Guru. They got some good rejoins for you. It's got the best one.
Me and the Goo hanging out tonight.
Are you?
At the game.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
We about to set trends.
Oh, boy.
You know where we're coming, right?
Guru's going to ditch you. Over, under on Guru. Oh, man. Guru's going to... He's going to duck you by halftime.
Lay off.
You think?
He's going to wiggle out. Oh, he's going to wiggle away from you.
Where's he going to go?
I don't know, but he's going to wiggle away from you. Oh, it's coming, Shasky.
Is it?
Guaranteed by the end of the game, you would not be watching with Guru.
Those are facts.
Well, why don't you let me come down and sit with you?
Oh, I don't have a seat.
I know.
I don't have a seat. Lubman texts me.
The homie Mully will probably let me, hang out.
Lubman, no, probably not. Lubman texts me, where are you sitting at? And Langford was texting me the whole time. And I text Langford, I said, tell Lubman where I'm sitting is top secret. It's G13 classified.
Oh.
You're not going to have me, hey, Lubman, hey, Bonte, it's time to take the picture with the 3 Larry O'Briens. No, it's not, Lubman. It's time to watch the game. Bonte, it's time to go to the team store and look for a hat. No, Lubman, it's time to watch the game. Lubman, don't bother me. But he got to hang out afterwards and made his night. And he wasn't wearing the feelings. He was rocking the Jordans from El Sleepy Floyd on Twitter.
Oh.
How about that? He was rocking the Jays. How about that? All right, we got our guest. We got him on hold listening to this gibberish. Scott Hastings, all-time color analyst of the Denver Nuggets there in town, of course. Best of 7 first-round series. Game 2 tonight at Chase Center. Tickets are still available. Go to Ticketmaster.com for that or Warriors.com. Tickets are still available. Even if it's sold out, season ticket holders will go ahead and resell their tickets. But Denver looking for the split to steal home court advantage. Scott, good morning. Welcome to the Roast. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky the Butcher. And we saw Saturday night the Nuggets get hit with that 3-guard lineup with Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, their small version of the lineup at the end of the first half. But I also thought the Warriors did what they could do to contain Nikola Jokic. What would you say about that?
Well, the Guru is coming over here for breakfast in a little bit, and we're going to hang out the game pregame. So, you know what? It's an interesting thing, and for a lot of people who haven't seen Denver a lot this year, and why I think that Nikola Jokic is the MVP. If he's not on this team, I don't know. I think they're a lottery team, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Wow.
And he's elevated his game. Think about this, guys. He's elevated his game and you saw it in game 1. I mean, he's the center of attention for Steve Kerr's defense. He gets 25, 10, and 6, and we think he was just okay with 3 steals, and 2 blocks, and he was just okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
I mean, if you slow those numbers down, and think about this, and he hasn't shot the 3 ball well, really, the last 3 or 4 weeks. If he just makes 2 of those threes, now we're talking to dude that's 31, 10, and 6. With 3 steals and 2 blocks, the game doesn't change. But now all of a sudden, probably our attitude towards it does. Listen, Nikola's Nikola. The great ones are always the great ones.
Right.
Steph Curry wasn't the Steph Curry of the 40-point game. But then you look at it, and he's 3 of 6 for the 3-point line, and a couple of those real crucial. In fact, the one before half was I thought was real big. Man, they're just a nice team. I think. And I was talking with Barney a couple of days ago. I think they're back in the championship mix again.
Jim Barnett, you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll tell you, who's Barney? Not the big purple dinosaur.
No, Jim Barnett.
The great Jim Barnett. Yeah, we love JB. He's giving you some insight. I'm trying to get some tips from JB.
Well, no, we were just talking about the teams. And listen, I think Golden State is back up there in championship territory again. I think that. And health is a big thing, right? I mean, listen, Denver's played all year without, their second, third best player. You guys went a lot of the year without Clay, without
Draymond.
Green, without Draymond with the green. You missed Steph. And health is a big thing, but healthy, those 3 guards with Draymond, and if you get James Wiseman. And listen, and let's not even talk about Wiggins, who started in the All-Star game this year, right? I mean, and I mean, you got some guys off the bench. I think Looney is the most underappreciated, solid backup center that's thrust into starting right now.
Absolutely.
I don't think people respect his game. I think he's a smart, solid, fundamentally strong player. So, I think Golden State's back in the championship discussion. If not this year, and things have got to fall right, but next year, 100%. Dude, listen, as long as you got Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and now you're at Jordan Poole healthy, dude, come on now.
Hey, Scott, you were talking about Guru on the way in. I don't know if you've ever met Guru, but he's been known to day drink, and he's also been known to have a run-on question or two. And you just set the record for the longest answer to a question in Morning Roast history.
Nice,
so congratulations. Scott. No, but on
dog, I'm about ready to jump on my radio show. And when you get them low times, you better learn how to talk for a long time.
There's no doubt.
Scott, I love
that was a pro answer.
Give me this, though. Give me this. All right. Sounds like you're already conceding the series. I am not there yet. But if you were to make the case for the Denver Nuggets, what's the counterpunch tonight? What is the template for how they can adjust or how they can play better? Because Aaron Gordon, I don't fear him from beyond the three. So what's the counterpunch for Denver tonight?
Well, and if you ever listen to me broadcast, listen, Aaron's hit a couple big threes this year, and that's great. But you're right, that's not his forte. And yet, I thought after the dust-up with he and Clay, all of a sudden, he wanted to get in the shooting contest. And my college coach, the late great Eddie Sutton, used to say, hey, if you're going to get in the horse game with him, you ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
And if Aaron Gordon's going to get in the horse game with Klay Thompson, he don't have a chance. But Aaron Gordon in the paint, that's our one bully guard. That's our Draymond Green, but can jump a little bit better, right? I mean, he needs to live in the paint. Joker's got to be efficient with his shooting. He's going to be the center of attention no matter what. And then you've got to have the two other key guys are Monte Morris and Will Barton. Mm-hmm. And I've always said between Gordon, Barton, and Morris, two of those three guys have to be significant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not just 8 or 10 points. I'm talking significant. Barton was there last game.
Right.
Gordon and Morris weren't. So that's the way they are constituted right now. And listen, they're a fun team. They're a good team. They're not as deep as Golden State. They don't have as many weapons. In fact, I'd ask you guys, what's Denver's weapons?
Yeah,
Jokic and then Monte Morris at times.
And that's why I think you're right. We read a stat where Jokic is off the floor. I believe Denver's like -8 points. When he's on the floor, they're like +7, 7.5. But it came out to a total of 16.2. That was the difference. That was the biggest difference in terms of a player's plus minus on and off the floor with a player playing over 1,000 minutes in damn near NBA history. It's really remarkable what Jokic has done with this roster here. So with that said, how were Denver fans or personnel feeling about Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. coming back? Because, Scott, I thought they were playing gamesmanship, Mike Malone, that is, in terms of talking about Jamal Murray. Looked like he was going to come back. What's going on with them? Will we see either of those two during this series?
Well, I do not think, personally, Michael Porter Jr. will play. He doesn't look ready to me. But I don't get to see private stuff and everything. I don't see Michael playing. I know there was an article yesterday. I think Mark Stein wrote or somebody wrote, and he said, "Hey, I'm hoping to get back in the series." Hey, listen, if he does, you guys know this, and I've been saying on my radio show, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. sometime in their rehab, and part of the rehab is those first handful of games back. You saw Clay. Right, the first 25 games, he was kind of, he's lost a step. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. And then the last, 12 or 13, you're like, okay, Clay's back. Clay just get 41. Clay's back. You have to have a WTF moment when you're coming back from a significant injury. Now, that moment will come either, in the playoffs. Murray hasn't played all year. Would he play game 2? Would he play game 3? I don't know. Will it happen the first game next year? Will it be but you've got to get hit. You've got to land funny, right? You got to take off at a weird angle, and you come down. You go, oh damn, my leg is still on, right? I don't know how many teams and how many players want to risk that in a playoff series. So my estimation, I'm not sure either one of them going to be back. I don't. That's just I don't want to go long-winded.
Right.
I don't want to take the number.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you, Scott. Without those two, there's no shot.
But if they do, they'd be great.
Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding without those two, Scott. We'll see you tonight at Chase Center.
But it's not
Campazzo
going
may
to
be
matter.
back.
Do you guys think it'll really matter if they do come back in the sense that you haven't played in a year?
No, not in this series.
Not in this series. Yeah,
No.
that's tough to ask Jamal Murray if he came back in this series coming off a torn
Here's the better
ACL.
question.
Yep.
Boogie can get thrown out of one more game in this series or what?
That was a weak. Hey, I'm not going to lie, Scott. That was a weak ejection. That was weak.
That was a weak. Listen, we've had a chance, and listen, Boogie's an emotional dude. You guys had him here for a while.
No way.
Boogie's an emotional dude, but I'm going to tell you what. I think there's a microscope on him in the league because I thought that was a quick tee.
Yeah, it was weak.
Scott Foster, I thought that was an angry second tee, man. That was and when he's gone, now all of a sudden you tell Joker, hey dog, you're still playing 36. We need you to go 42.
Yeah, I know.
And how good is that for the health of the series?
No, not good at all. You mentioned Joker and in 3-point shooting. Since March 1st, he was shooting 21% from three. He goes 0-4 from the 3-point line Saturday night. So those legs are getting heavy for Joker from carrying this team to the 16 in the Western Conference. Scott, thanks so much for the time. You got a show to get ready for, so go get ready for that. Denver Warriors tonight, game number 2. We'll talk to you soon, man. Hopefully this series goes a little long for you guys.
All right, man. Have fun.
Yep.
Scott Hastings, color analyst for the Denver Nuggets. He was on a roll.
No, he was.
He was on a roll.
I did get a sense that, it feels like he doesn't have a lot of confidence. I mean, that's surprising. He doesn't have much confidence.
Not a lot of faith
in his guys.
Not a lot of faith in the Denver Nuggets. And they're shorthanded. And they got a rude awakening with that new Def lineup. A lot of people asking for nicknames for the new Def lineup. I know Jason Dumas hit me up and said, what do you think about Frisco 5? I don't think Steph, Clay, and Dre would like that because they spent 10 years or 9 of their 10 years in Oakland. Or actually, they've been at Chase Center now for 2 years. So, but the majority of their careers in Oakland, California at Oracle Arena. I don't know. The Def lineup, just the new Def lineup 2.0, because it was deadly at the end of the first half.
There's no doubt. I'm not trying to be the curmudgeon or the old man. Does it have to have a nickname? I'm asking sincerely.
No, but that's just what we do in sports.
Yeah, okay.
It's like what we do in sports. That five with Wiggins, Draymond, Poole, Steph, Clay. I don't know. Maybe it does. By the way, the Xfinity Flex moment of the show coming up in about 5 minutes on the roast. About 5 minutes. Let's go to Joe in San Jose. Joe, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen?
What up?
I want to get into this Kyrie flipping the fans off. I said the only thing Kyrie has to do is look at his latest ATM receipt and just brush all that off.
Wow.
You don't need to do that. You're a bigger man than that. That's what these guys do. They go to the games, they get all tanked up, and they're mad because they're picking up garbage or whatever they're doing throughout the week. No disrespect to the garbage man, but you're not an NBA player, so you're going to throw gas at these guys, and that's all you have to do. Look at the ATM receipt and move on. Now, my second piece is Aaron Gordon. What are you doing talking to Clay? You can't even tie Clay Thompson's shoelaces. What are you doing? Just take your braids and just get your 6 points and your rebounds and your blocks and know your role, son.
Well, look, it's hard for me to rip Aaron Gordon because he's a local guy, and I do like him. But if you're asking me how to defend him, literally what they did, stand right in the paint and say, here is a green light to shoot anything you want out of the paint.
He got taken out of that game early. Draymond, they had a little, he's posted up Draymond Green. He misses. Draymond pushes him off the block. Then he posts up and tries a little fadeaway in the paint over Draymond Green instead of just going straight up. Just go straight up and try to dunk on him. He tries to fade away like he was Jordan. Tried to fade away. And it didn't work out for him. He hit the front rim, and that was that.
All right, so you want some horrible names? They're just flowing in right now. The Cannonball Run, the Splash Triplets, Typhoon Platoon, the Typhoon Goons, the Tsunami Posse. How about this one? The Slip and Slide.
Terror Squad?
Terror squad, lean back.
Bully brought up treacherous trio with Draymond and Wiggins. It's
wordy.
It's a little wordy.
Yeah.
A little wordy. Death Lineup 2.0? No.
Death Lineup is like, I mean, when you bring out the the Death Star multiple times, that's part of what made people frustrated with the reboot of the Star Wars. You got to come up with something else. The Deadpool lineup. I know. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
The deep end?
The deep end? That's not bad. That's not bad.
I don't know. The Downtown 5, 415, Xfinity mobile text line. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't need a nickname.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, it needs to be worked out. But the last 4 minutes of change in the first half, that lineup went on an 18-4 run.
Yeah, it's lethal.
And it is lethal.
It's lethal.
That is their defense, their offense.
Infinity Wars. I mean, they're here.
Their offense.
I mean, come on.
Thanos is here. Let's go to. It's not Fillmore Mark. It's not Fillmore Mark, Lubman. It's got to be Fillmore Mike. Got to be Fillmore Mike.
No, he did not put Fillmore Mark.
It's got to be Fillmore Mike. Call it in. Yep, it's Filmo. It's Filmo. We know about this term. It's Filmo. What's happening?
San Quinn say back in the day, yeah, Max Square Mark. A store like Barry Bond 73rd humming out of Packville Park. Hey, let me know. Anyway, hey, that Boogie Cousins ejection was the softest ejection I done seen since somebody poked in the back for a needle for taking COVID-19. That was so soft. What are we doing? They playing, man. Hey, and you could tell, hey, Bonte, you could tell the fans, right? They knew it was soft. They didn't even egg it on, like, for real, for real. Like, they didn't even, for two reasons. They knew the ejection was whack, and because DeMarcus Cousins is an ex-Warrior. I love the Warriors fans and the knowledge they got. They was like, man, we ain't even finna heckle DeMarcus Cousins. It was a soft ass ejection. Y'all have a great show. Y'all killing it, man.
Appreciate you, Philbo.
I love
Appreciate you, Philbo. 650. Xfinity mobile text line to Filthy 5.
That's not
Filthy
bad.
5. That's not bad.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
The Bay Bombers.
No sitter needed lineup. No sitter needed.
Well, that's obvious. Yes,
Right.
I'm with him on that.
The
Go small.
mid-court mafia.
Mid-court mafia. Okay.
I always love a good day with the mafia, with something with the mafia.
Cerebrus? Is that what that is from Greek mythology? Is that from the 209?
Wow, getting deep on us.
I like
getting
that.
Deep on us. Somebody
Third
likes the
Street
deep
Dumpers.
end. We got to vote for the deep end. Furious 5.
So personally, and I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon, nor am I trying to be like the get off my lawn guy. I feel like the death lineup was so organic and the way they put it out, and they killed shot teams. I don't know if you necessarily need a nickname for these lineups.
Right.
Like, I don't think it needs to be organic.
Yeah, Hamptons 5. Grant Liftman on Twitter, the Bomb Squad. Thanks for listening,
but
Grant.
you don't want to say bomb.
I know Grant Liftman is listening. He's
you know
tweeting
what?
about
We're
it.
here. You know what? Grant, I follow you. You don't follow me. What's going on? What's going on here? Why do people do this?
Whoa.
I'm going to call him out.
Does Ray Ratto follow you?
No, he blocked me. But at least he's keeps it real. All right? Don't treat the follow
have you ever met Grant?
like a holy sacred. Come on, man. Support your friends who support others.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Hit that follow, doggy.
Infinity Gauntlet. The High Tide 5.
The High Tide 5's not bad.
Lethal Weapon 3.
The Lethal Weapons. That's Always Sunny. That reminds me of Always Sunny. You don't watch Always Sunny. They did like Lethal Weapon 5.
Ooh, how about this? Rub PTC.
Run PTC.
Pool Clay Curry.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Does it need a name? They played 6 minutes together. Win a championship, you can name them whatever you want.
The Foreclosure 5.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It also probably hits home a little too close.
That's pretty good. We'll see about that. I'm not doing any names with Warden.
No, not with things that are going on. No, that's insensitive. That's why I'm not really feeling like the death lineup,
Buddy Time lineup. Buddy Time!
The Take It to the Bank?
Buddy Time!
What is it called in WWE, the pay-per-view? Is it Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Money in the Bank, is that what it is?
And then you could take your briefcase and you could basically cash in any opportunity against the champion.
Yeah. Ed Malloy is not reffing tonight. By the way, the referees.
Yeah, who is it?
For tonight.
Ed Malloy stinks.
Yeah, he does stink. Ed Scott Foster on the same crew. Tonight, Kane Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Curtis Blair.
Uh-huh.
And Kevin Cutler. I believe Curtis Blair may be Gucci Man. That may be Gucci Man. You know, the referee looks just like Gucci Man.
Yeah.
I think that's Curtis Blair. We got some terrible refs in the NBA. The fact that we know it's not. That's not Gucci Man. Gucci Man is somebody else. It's just these refs are awful.
When
Sorry,
are we getting
Dan
Tony
Daly.
Brothers?
Oh, okay. You know he's coming.
It is.
Catfish?
Yeah.
And the game's going to be out of.
Well, that's going to be game 3
What
in
game
Denver.
did Catfish do?
He's going to do game 3 in Denver.
What
Like,
game
mark
did he,
my words.
What game did he do over the weekend?
I don't know.
I didn't hear about him. So
I was trying to
that's good.
watch that Bucks game and that Chicago Bulls game last night. Why did the Bulls go away from the pinstripes on the black jerseys?
Oh, I know.
I kind of like that.
They were good,
weren't they?
They had the yeah. They just went black,
I like
no pinstripes.
The
right?
black's okay. Like it's not bad. It's better than one of their other. They had like an alternative jersey that I wasn't feeling.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
They have great uniforms. I don't know why they need to move off them.
Take the whole salary cap 5.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
All right, it's time now for the flex moment of the show. Brought to you by Xfinity, which got labor. It's disappointing if he doesn't score 20 anymore. It's disappointing if his pacing, Jordan Poole's pacing.
Yes.
He has a sense of the moment, which great players have. Like I think of Dwayne Wade when he had a sense when to take over for the Miami Heat. You think of those just quick flash players.
Absolutely.
Where it's just like, all right, it's my time now. A little Kevin Johnson in his game. Like this guy, Jordan Poole,
the start and stop.
Dude, everybody always talks about the offseason. Like, oh, the Warriors going to have... Jordan Poole's going to be a Golden State Warrior for a very long time.
Oh, put pen to
very
paper.
long time.
The Flex of the Show, presented by Xfinity Flex, the 4K streaming TV box with voice remote and Peacock Premium, free with Xfinity Internet.
I mean, 30 points in his playoff debut, the second most points in his playoff debut, the youngest player to have 30 in a playoff game for the Golden State Warriors in their playoff debut. Jordan Poole, a star is born, baby. He is here. He has arrived.
So the first quarter, Klay Thompson, it felt like he dribbled into a couple of turnovers, and I'm thinking, oh, great, what kind of game are we going to be getting here? And then I don't know what happened, but they just kind of like got into a sync, into a mode, and Jordan Poole just started feeling himself in that second quarter.
14 points in that frame.
And it felt like everything kind of flowed off that.
12 turnovers overall.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
What did they have, 3 or 4 in the first couple of minutes?
They had three in the first like 5 minutes of the game. It was ugly. And it was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Here we go again. But they cleaned it up. And I think they ended the first half with only 5. So took care of the basketball. You got to the cup. You got to the free throw line. Second chance points. You dominated. You won the 3-point line. Everything went according to plan in game number 1. Just got to do it again in game 2.
Yeah.
And Denver's going to come out hard. This is their game.
Well,
they're going to be desperate.
That's kind of my question to you is I'm looking at Denver's roster. What is their counterpunch? I mean, all the ancillary pieces playing better. Is that really?
And the Warriors got to have an off night from the 3-point line. Like you can't have Klay and Jordan Poole going crazy. And then by the way, Wiggins is going to score 16. Draymond's going to have 12. Curry's going to come off the bench and score 16. Like no. Some of that stuff you got. Draymond can't score 12. Wiggins can't get a 16, and you can't let Jordan Poole go 9 or 13 from the floor. Oh, by the way, Klay Thompson's bombing 5 threes, so 2 of those guys you got to take out the basketball game. You have to, as we welcome in Willard and Dibs.
Good morning, guys.
Fellas, what's going on, gentlemen?
Got a lot of tweets, texts. You blew up his phone last night.
Oh, yeah. Everyone was like, Dan's leaving Oakland? I think a lot of people thought we were leaving the station.
Yeah,
this hit the breaking news sounder right now. Dan Dibley is still on the show.
I thought that was pretty clear cut, but then exactly. Then again, I guess you have to be super crystal clear. Of course, I'm not leaving 95.7 the game. I'm coming out of here in a casket this time. So,
speaking of deadline,
look, don't release it yet. Tease the casket.
Moving. Where are you moving to? Well, you don't have to name the city.
Yeah, just parts unknown.
Let him keep it.
Parts unknown.
Yeah. All right.
I just do want to thank Oakland. Unbelievable run. I was just telling the guys out there, sent both kids to Oakland Unified, K through 12, 13 years, and both at UC schools. So
that's done well.
Don't let them disparage OUSD.
Do you still have to cross a bridge to come to San Francisco?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking for sunshine, kid. It's freezing over here.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And by the way, it's cold everywhere. It's supposed to be almost May, guys. What happened?
Well, the Russian River on Saturday was gorgeous. I left the city at like 9 in the morning. It was pouring rain, end of the world, like at 9 o'clock on Saturday. Got up there, and it was like the nicest 65-degree weather. You want to talk about microclimates. I mean,
I mean, at least it wasn't raining. I feel bad. It's too privileged to sort of make the comment that I was feeling yesterday. But when you're still playing that twilight round and it's 7:45 and we've dropped below 50 degrees, do you hesitate to pull out the long iron because if you don't hit that thing exactly right, you're going to get that vibration sensation.
That's a buck.
Yeah. So it was. It got cold. It got cold yesterday.
Where's your play? A lot of money there, man. Look at that money.
Yeah, we're getting there.
What are you guys going to do with that, by the way?
We have a charity that was going to be named 5 weeks ago, but we pushed it to last week, and then we didn't mention it again.
Wow. We're waiting for the powers that be to give the green check.
There's some money. I
have the. I got you. I got a $5.
It's as good as cash.
It's $5.
You never seen?
You got $5 on it?
I got $5 on it.
Shout out 102 Jams.
I can't say
station.
I can't say anymore today. I got $5 in the wallet, and the jar gets it. Crystal Springs yesterday. Ran around Crystal Springs, and I would like to ask a question of the deer who all live at Crystal Springs. What's up with you? Yeah. Like they don't move. They are the tamest deer. Like
you know what that is, right?
What is that?
It's a domestication sensation.
Seriously,
they've been domesticized.
Like my kids are looking at the deer. I mean, you're hitting balls right at the deer, and they look at you, and they're just like you pulled it left. Like they're not scared. They don't run away.
Seriously,
there are a few that I'm literally in my backswing. They run right in front of you. I'm like, my gosh, you guys.
Have you been to a wedding at the top of Crystal Springs there ever? Above the
Absolutely,
reservoir.
yeah.
How gorgeous of a setting is that?
We got a pic. We didn't get married, but me and my son's got a picture right next to the gazebo yesterday. That's a good spot.
It is.
That is a good spot.
I went to 2 different weddings there, the Bologna wedding and the La Rocca wedding, and it was just absolutely outstanding.
The Bologna. Did they marry each other?
The Bolognas and the La Roccas? Are you kidding me?
Sounds like an Italian dish.
I mean, you want to talk about a money dance.
Let
my
me get the La Rocca Bologna.
You just rip. How many money clips worth those 2 things?
Seriously.
What the hell? Hey, come on over here. Let me get a little something for you.
A lot of favors given out at that wedding.
Oh, my gosh.
I heard you guys talking A's opener. A's opener tonight?
It's big.
Over under with the Warriors game going on.
Well, that was the first comment I made to him this morning. I go, it's nobody's fault, but is there anything more A's ever than, okay, we have finally reached our home opener? And the Warriors are like, Game 2. Like, what? Who's even going to watch this game at home tonight?
Frankie Montas.
Oh, well, I was reflecting on this is a real sad moment as far as, and again, Chase Center's incredible, and I'm happy they're there. It's one of the nicest arenas in the world, but this would have been a perfect night to gravy train off an A's tailgate, because the A's tailgate still is a tremendously fun occasion. So it would have been an easy gravy train, a 4 o'clock arrival, an A's tailgate. You switch your green and gold for your blue and gold, and you go the other way in the lot. Bing, bang, boom. That would have been a jumping party in the East Bay.
And they dropped the ball.
So
but A's playing well.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this guy? We're burying the lead.
What? See me what?
Did you see him on set with 40 water?
No.
Oh, you guys didn't see it on Saturday?
I was in the middle of a pack and move, one for the ages.
Pack and move. Not a pack and save.
No, not a pick and pop either. So I couldn't get my full Monte pre and post. It was one of those times where, look, Buster, during all media timeouts, you're carrying a box, you're making a box, something's happening. It wasn't just a sit and have 11 chores.
Twas the night before Easter, and all through the house, we were late to the game. That's how the poem ends.
Now I have a question. When packing up, because my brother recently moved, and I said to him, dude, you need to go through your stuff and shed some of the things that you have in your life as you're packing to go. He's like, no, we just threw it all in boxes. We'll just take a look at it when we get there. And now I go in his garage, and it's just a box sensation. I don't know what other word I could have used there, but
boxication sensation.
There you go.
Which
you have to shed, right?
Yes. What happens was my girl Supper and I. Supper is her radio name because she doesn't call it dinner; she calls it supper.
Oh, which is uncomfortable.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we had brisket last night for Passover.
Oh, that's supper.
Hashtag I'm a Jew.
Now, how much reading did you have to do to get there? Was it about 10:30 when the brisket finally came out?
No, there was a quick prayer and some Hebrew, and I'm still kind of learning as we go here. So
no reading material. You got straight to it.
No heavy reading.
That's good.
It was
good.
That's good evolution. It was the 2-minute drill, and we were out of timeout. So.
Crock pot sensation or oven?
Oven.
Nice.
Delicious.
I do love a good brisket.
But we played a game yesterday during the move called Trash or Treasure. Because there's items that she would think, throw it away. And I said, this one's going on the curb for 24 hours, and we'll see what happens. And what happens in Oakland is the treasure hunters.
Of course.
The neighbor.
My dad was
the neighbor's neighbor, Ursula. Shout out Ursula across the street who walked off with cash and prizes worth about $11 of my garbage.
You know what the key to that move is? If you want something big taken away, don't put free next to it. Put for sale. Then they'll just steal it.
Look at you.
No, I'm not kidding. They deem it to be valuable.
Look at this.
I grew up in Excelsior. There's a lot of freebies out on the streets.
Psychological warfare on the Shasky corners.
Yeah, Xfinity mobile text line, relocation sensation.
Yeah, that needs a buzz for the texters.
I like 707. How about that?
See, I have a rule. If you don't use it for a year, if you don't plan on using it in the next year, then it's got to go. It's got to go. Unless it's something that's going to be hung up on a wall.
You're doing something right. You're doing something right. If I don't use it for a year, I don't know where it is.
Well, see,
I mean, how the hell do you keep track of stuff like that?
Well, clothes is my deal. Like, I like to keep T-shirts, like all the strip the number T-shirts.
I've got it all.
The shirts over 95.7 game.
Yeah.
I just gave a garbage bag full of T-shirts away from all those giveaways, and it was tough to do it, but I hadn't worn them in over a year.
Those?
Oh, I fit them. Come on, baby.
Well, because you're tall. I'm just saying, they're like XLs usually.
The only way I'm growing is in weight. What are you saying?
Well, you're 6'4", dude. You're standing up next to Mully. My wife got the same height as Mully.
A couple pounds.
You look like a jockey on that set compared to 6'8", 6'7". I just got rid of a shirt that I got when I met Tony Bruno for the first time.
Red Wine Fridays.
Raider Rally
that's a
in
generation
Oakland.
ago.
Nifty 1050 on the.
Oh my God.
On the Raider.
Nifty.
The shirt was it was pre-ticket.
Wow.
It was in the Nifty. I think it was 02.
Did you get your ass kicked around the bay?
I sure did.
You did, didn't you?
Absolutely. The fabulous one.
Unbelievable. All right. By the way, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in AC1 San Francisco, and Odyssey Station, brought to you by DuckDuckGo. Privacy Simplified. I got distracted because on Twitter, I see a couple people, and I think they're listening to the show because all of a sudden these tweets are coming out. Stop trying to force a nickname. You're trying too hard.
I kind of understand where they're coming from.
You know, the whole five lineup, the FISM there with Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Steph, Clay, and Poole. And in the first half, they go on an 18-4 run. So people are saying, can you call it the Def lineup? Def lineup 2.0, Frisco 5, whatever. It's all in fun. It's all in fun. Nobody's forcing anything, but it's all in fun. But people get outraged over the darndest things.
Well, it's got to be good, right? It is forced if it's not good. And we don't like... the death lineup too. Like, no, it's got to be fresh. It's got to be something different.
I feel the same way.
Right?
Yeah.
The life